And welcome everyone to FTSR and Nerd TV for another Mach-1 Performance Cup Series race, starting off the 2023 C playoff season here. 10 races to get it done. Grab the trophy for 2023. Weather on the track at Darlington right now, 85 degrees on the track, 82 in the skies, 53% humidity, overcast, which we're going to go into the nighttime, so that really won't matter. 9 degrees or 9-mile-an-hour winds, which may or may not play into the factor of tonight's race. Who knows? But either way, we are coming at you live from the simulated Darlington Speedway, and my name is Jeremy Stanley, aka Jay Swifty. And over to my right, Jason Rockefeller. How are you doing this Monday evening?
Well, good evening, Jeremy. Happy Labor Day. Some of us did not have a Labor Day today, but hey, this is the part where we get to enjoy our Labor Day. For guys like myself, as we get to watch the FTSR Mach-1 Performance Cup Series take on race number 1 of the playoffs tonight. I'm looking forward to it, no doubt about it. One of the best tracks probably on iRacing, and no doubt about it, too, probably the hardest one.
Yeah, this track, if you've not, you probably all have seen Darlington by this point, people that are watching or will be watching later on. This is one of the trickiest tracks. You're not going to be able to run up to the wall probably as much as you saw Kyle Larson and all them yesterday. But regardless, the high line is the preferred lane. You cannot run below the dotted white line like you can in real life. That's just way too slow. So it's not enough room regardless in the real life to get around these corners safely. 2 wide, even 3 wide. But now it's less restricted here on the simulated platform. So you get about 2.5 lanes of total room to race. And it poses some really tricky situations here for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no doubt about it, and obviously we'll have to see, what it really brings tonight, to say the least, because, I mean, this track is just so tricky, all the time. So, I mean, it's going to be hard for these guys. Obviously, this car is still fairly new. We'll have to see how it reacts. Last time these guys were here, back at the beginning of 2023, Troy Torgerson was the winner here, and obviously he's not here tonight. TJ Bartel finished second. He's not competing for the playoffs. This is kind of still really anybody's game, but I expect probably the same drivers, Jeremy, to be up at the front like we've usually seen here in recent weeks.
Yeah, this track for sure is one of the driver's tracks, and you're gonna see the fast guys be up front. There's no question about it. If you know what it takes to do what you got to do to go fast on iRacing, this is one of those tracks that are going to showcase your talents for sure. We got 2 minutes left in practice here, just kind of going over the points. 42 Kyle Milliken, remember last week he won at the final moment to get into this thing, so he's in here running pretty good lap times, hopefully can carry that momentum. He's inside the top 10 in practice, but Richie Coy holds the point lead. He's got a 10-point lead over the 31 of Jeff Chandler, 11 points over teammate Brody Hanna, 12 over Chad Lang. Wayne Grossi is in 5th place, 15 back. So really, the cut line is kind of where you get iffy, right? We're averaging 20, 25 cars per race here at the FTSR Mach-1 Performance Cup Series. And if you look at below that cut line, Ryan Chapman, 21 back, Jamie Knopp, 21 back, Joshua Johnson, 23 back, and Brian Dublé, 24 back. They're basically 1 race behind. So they got to hit their stuff these 3 weeks. They have to, or else they got to win. Either way, those guys on the cut line have some work to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, and if you look back to last night's Southern 500 here at Darlington, I mean, look at Michael McDowell. Was in a little bit better of a points position earlier on in the race. Was having a solid night, got involved in a crash with Denny Hamlin and a few other drivers heading into turn number 1. Next thing you know, he comes out bottom of the playoff bracket in the 16th spot with like 19 points or maybe even more outside from the cutoff, obviously cutting off at 12. So after these next 3 races, we're going to cut off that 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th place driver, and then 12 will continue. So, that being said, obviously people know the way that this points format has been ran. It's been run now like this now for almost 10 years. And it creates a lot of drama, a lot of opportunities for a lot of drivers to pounce and really show. I mean, when you look at it too, Jeremy, you think back obviously to drivers now, not in this format, obviously, but drivers like Tony Stewart back in 2011 won 5 out of the last 10 races, didn't win a race all single year long, went into Chicagoland earlier on at the start of the playoffs said, hey, we don't even deserve to be here. Next thing you know, a guy goes out and wins the championship over a tiebreaker. So this is your time to shine. If you're drivers like Brody Hanna, Ryan Chapman, Brian Dublé, Kyle Milliken, all those guys coming into tonight, and tonight's definitely a race that you're going to have to be on the binders because this track is an egg shape. It's tricky, and they call it the track that's too tough to tame for a reason.
Man, that season has me scarred because that was over, Carl Edwards, which is my guy, and Tony Stewart spoiled it for
God
everybody.
bless you.
So
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
I can't recall many playoffs at all every year. 2011, yeah, I want to forget that one sometimes, but we are in qualifying, so it's our time to get our faces off your guys' screens. We're going to tune into the action here in qualifying. P1 was Daniel Simmons in the 06. He has not taken track just yet. So it looks like the next one down the order is the 31 of Jeff Chandler, and also the 19 here of Richie Coy, who was fourth fastest, and there's Jeff Chandler there in third. On the front stretch, starting off on his first lap. Let's see if he takes this first lap serious.
Yeah, you're going to want to see right there, dives it down into the corner, kind of gets the left sides dipped right below that apron, swings it out to the wall, then kind of arcs it back down, kind of like this very awkward diamond shape, probably the hardest point on the track to pass. And you want to get a hard braking zone, kind of let the car kind of roll through the corner, easily get back on the gas, and then just kind of mash off the corner and hope that you don't tag that wall here. If you're Jeff Chandler, this is a guy we're going to be looking at, somebody who could potentially spoil this championship run for Richie Coy. We know how strong Richie's been all season long. Ever since Jeff came back on the scene here for the Mach-1 Performance Cup, he's been giving him kind of a run for his money recently. And I tell you what, that number 31 machine, by far, out of most paint schemes I've seen tonight, beautiful, beautiful scheme.
Still going with the throwback here at Darlington. Here as he comes to the checker flag to complete his second lap. At the line, he's going to run a 29.090, 3/10 faster than his first lap. Currently going to put him P1 on the board by 3/10 over second place at the moment, Wayne Grassi. And I think this 31, Jeff Chandler, I think he's one of the most motivated guys in the garage area. I say that because Richie Coy obviously dominated the 2023 A and B seasons, right? That's the regular season. So that's out of the way. Jeff Chandler didn't really do much on the first half. Second half, he did a great work, right? But now it's playoff time. So this gives everyone equal opportunity to get the actual championship here. And, these guys, second, third, fourth, have been running really strong. They're really excited for this season here. We're on board now. Then there's 06 Daniel Simmons, who did win practice here. And let's see what he's got for qualifying.
Yeah, Dan should be very fast here tonight. We'll obviously have to see. You see him again rolling into turns 3 and 4. Kind of a little bit higher entry, but still a good grip through the middle of the corner. Kind of a solid line here. This should be a very solid lap here at the line for Dan. He's going to jump up to P14. So not good, but not that bad also. Remember, this is going to be a very, very tough race to make passes here tonight, Jeremy. So if you want to try to have a good race, I really do think that track position is going to be key, not only with tire wear, but just how hard to pass at with this track. Obviously, talk about turns 1 and 2 just a handful of moments ago. You cannot pass going down in there, and if you try to, you're almost nearly wrecking, and you better have some good communication with whoever you're racing. And, Daniel Simmons, 14th on the board, jumps all the way up to the second spot. So this could be a very, very good start tonight for Daniel Simmons.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly jump to the chat because it's going to be a good little transition here. Matt Hayden on Facebook says, I'm just here for a homework assignment. That's Matt Hayden, the 5 from the Tuesday RSR Next Gen Cup Series. And, homework here is qualifying. Looks like everyone in the top 5, for the most part, their fastest time is on lap number 2, and it's been about 2 to 4/10 of a second faster as these tires take their time to warm up here. Really loose on the fresh tires when the tire pressure is not up to optimal temps and pressures yet. And now we're on board on the roof camera. Ryan Chapman in the 27, one of our IROC 93.5 cockpit camera drivers here this evening. This man is looking to do some damage here in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it at all, Jeremy. This guy has been doing very, very strong recently in this season. Obviously, when you come into tonight, knowing that he has to have a good run practically. I mean, obviously last weekend, cutoff race, he made it in. But now tonight, he sits 1 point below the cutoff line. He's going to have 3 races to get above that top 12. And if you're Ryan Chapman, you want to make sure that you have a cool, calm, collective night. We know how bad sometimes Ryan Chapman's nights can be when something doesn't go his way. Currently slots into the 12th spot. I believe for the time being, this looks like it's going to wrap up qualifying. I think Jamie Knopf is going to be your pole winner here.
That is absolutely correct. Jamie Knopf does take the pole here as qualifying does come to a close for the Darlington 200 here. And then it is our time now. As soon as these guys get started up on the grid here, we're going to go down the running order here for tonight's race to start off this 2023 C race. And looks like most guys have entered the track. So we're going to jump trackside here. First place, it's going to be the number 84 there of Jamie Knopf. Second place there of Daniel Simmons and the 06. Third place is going to be Jeff Chandler. Fourth place, Jose Acosta. Fifth place, Chris Beck. Sixth place, Richie Coy. Seventh, Stephen Hollingsworth. Eighth place, Wayne Grassi. Ninth place, Michael Blackner. And tonight's 10th place starting car, the 42 of Kyle Milliken.
Rounding out the rest of the field tonight from 20th, or should I say 11th back to 26th, Brody Hanna, FTSR's very own, starting P11th. Ryan Chapman, just mentioned him before. He'll start 12th. Chad Lang, 13th after a good run at Daytona. TJ Bartel, Daytona Truck Series winner from just a couple weeks ago. He'll start 14th. Robert Milikian, after just barely almost clinching that first win last week at Daytona, he'll start 15th. Tony Solari sitting 16th on the grids. Lane Allen, 17th. Danny LaFleur, new name tonight. Never seen that. Here we go. He's going to be driving that 99 machine in the 18th spot tonight. Rob Tracy in the number 88 machine. Sherwood Williford driving that number 33 as always. Josh Johnson starting 21st outside that top 12 right now. He needs a good night. James Wallace, 22nd. Brian Dublé as well, 16th on the playoff grid. Needs to have a good night. And then you have 25th, that is Ryan Hedrick. 26th, looks like back there you have Ben Tracy. And then also rounding out the field, Steve Loomis in that 17 machine.
26 entries here for the Darlington race to start off the 2023 C season. And I'm going to jump back to that 99 car, Danny LaFleur. For those regulars here that have watched the FTSR through the Nerd TV, what happened to Moreau Motorsports over the summer? Well, it looks like they might be transferring back because look at that Transit Ford Mustang. That is definitely one of the Moreau Motorsports cars, I would have to imagine. So starting to make their presence back in here for coming up to the fall and winter seasons. As we're kind of ticking our way closer to the end of this one with 10 races to go. All right, we got a half a lap left before we're going to green flag here. Looking at stage break at lap 65. And then they're going to run it to 184 total laps here this evening pending. There is no overtime whatsoever. And we're going to have a pretty decent restart here. Hopefully these guys can keep it clean. I know last night in the real world, it was very clean for the first half of the race, caution-free essentially. And then a boat ton after, which is very common of Darlington. But here we go. Green flag is out. Darlington 250 is underway. Jamie Knopf in the 84 gets a car length advantage over the 06 of Daniel Simmons. Head up turn number 1. Looks like Jeff Chandler is going to clear Daniel as well. They're going to quickly single file out here through the top 5. As Darlington is very known, you want to go single file quickly so you don't have any issues going through this track through turn 2. We'll see the number 11 Tony Solari almost making contact 3 wide momentarily in the back off of turn 2. Very sketchy. Hard to do here. They get it going there. Single file now. You see the 40. Or the 4 car rating the 22 here. They go single file for turn number 4. They complete lap 1.
And it looks like so far so good. Nobody getting that infamous Darlington stripe from the lady in black on lap number 1. Working on to lap number 2, Jamie Knopf, top of the board right now. Also 35.320. He was the fastest time last time around, despite being the start. And here comes Danny LaFleur to the inside of Robert Milikian, heading down to the inside. We got one car sideways in the back. That's Josh Johnson. Believe he was able to save it. He did, and Ben Tracy out of line as well. Couple guys get sideways. Jeremy, very, very tough to handle a race car here this early on in the race with the tires still heating up.
Man, the 57 Joshua Johnson, that was him getting sideways. He barely made contact to the 88's left rear quarter panel there. And he's got damage on that fender, which I'm surprised because he barely made any contact with him, but it was enough to kick him sideways, lost all the positions, running dead last right now, 26th place on the boards. Excellent drive there from the 57 to Joshua Johnson, 2-knot spin. You see the little wall slap from the 88 off the turn 3 and 4 there. That was Robert Tracy. Then Joshua, of course, makes a big save. Then 88, Robert Tracy goes down to the front stretch there. And I want to jump to the chats. Nicholas Moreau has confirmed he has joined us on the broadcast, saying, "Yep, 99 is with us." So, Moreau Motorsports making a presence here in 2023C. That is confirmed.
Yeah, and it's obviously good to see them back. Obviously, we talked, behind behind everything, behind closed doors, recently, Jeremy, in the last few weeks, and I was always like, man, where are the Moreau brothers? Where are they going? And then you told me, they have some other league obligations. They like to kind of just fluctuate, go around in and out of leagues sometimes, and show up when they want. So it's good to see one of their cars showing up here tonight. We'll have to see how Danny does in fact do. Already up 3 spots from where he started. Right now residing in that 15th position, still trying to make some moves. Is everybody currently trying to get around that 44 of that is Chris Beck slapping the wall, looked like heading into turn number 1. Ryan Chapman was able to make quick work of him, and now TJ Bartel behind that 44. He'll look to the inside heading down to turn number 3 with the 4 of Chad Lang.
Man, Chris Beck is just... The way he's slowing up in the right at the corner entrance there is kind of sketchy to me. He really checked up in front of the 27 Ryan Chapman. I thought he was going to make contact during the corner because there's just a drastic speed difference, but somehow unscathed so far. Now he resides in 13th place in front of that 99 Moreau Motorsports machine. And Ryan Chapman, I think, almost made some contact there off of turn number 2, and it looks like he's going to get passed up here by the 77 of Bartel coming to turn number 3.
And he'll head down to the inside of the racetrack. That number 77 machine throwing it back to Tony Stewart. Down to the inside of that 27, that time at the line. Chapman will hold the position. Back into turns 1 and 2. Chad Lang in the RPM Richard Petty STP throwback, trying to close that gap in with Chapman. He got a little loose in the center of 1 and 2. Kind of drifts back a little bit to the front bumper of Chad Lang. And Chad Lang will go down to the bottom now in turns 3 and 4.
Nicholas Moreau corrected me and said they're too busy with the real-life racing, he would say. So they got the real-life stuff that's more important, which obviously that takes over this any day of the week. Absolutely. So hopefully that is going well for sure. But that race right there kind of settled out, jumping back to the lead. Jamie Knopp still leading this thing through the first 9 laps, heading to lap number 10. We got the 31 of Jeff Chandler about 2 car lengths off the back bumper there, and about 5 back as Daniel Simmons looking at Jose Acosta on the inside, trying to crack himself into podium position.
Yeah, and Acosta's been doing really, really good. You look back, a 7th and a 5th place finish from his first 2 starts last time, both at Watkins Glen and also another track. So that 24 machine looks to be very fast. Who knows? Maybe we could be talking to a first-time winner here tonight at the end of this race, Jeremy. That 24, if you can just keep the tires on, we'll have to see how he does here later on in this race as Jeff Chandler slowly continues to close the gap to Jamie Knopp for the race lead.
Jumping back to the 19, this is Richie Coy under fire now by I guess he did pass the 06 Daniel Simmons as my scoring tower does get himself updated here. The 25 was pretty close to Richie Coy, and he kind of fell back a little bit. But look at this 24, Jose Acosta. Passed the 06 a couple laps prior, and this man is on a mission. He is getting very close now to the 31 of Jeff Chandler, running the fastest lap times out of the whole field.
Doing very, very, very good job. Obviously, most guys are too here. When you look at most people, just last time around too, Jeremy, are running some of their fastest lap times. So it just goes to show you that Darlington's kind of a rhythm track. And, once you hit that perfect lap, you could set another fast lap next time around, unless the tires are worn out very, very, very drastically. But everybody's still trying to run some fast lap times. Danny LaFleur, he ran a fast lap time for himself last time around. We'll see if anybody else does this time by. But the field's kind of strung out, single file. You don't really see much battling on until you get back there to Brody Hanna, Chris Beck, Lane Allen. You see, that's the 37, Brian Dublé. He's trying to look now on Tony Solari, trying to get another position. As you look at Ryan Hendrick, work down to the inside of Ben Tracy, not enough to get it. Josh Johnson on the attack, though, to the inside on the backstretch.
Yeah, looking to the inside, I saw positions being passed, yeah, around the same area, through 20th on back. Really scrambled up for the most part. Oh, the number 11 of Tony Slaughter gets heavy loose, almost drives back up into the 37's door panel on the front straightaway, and I don't know how he did not wreck the Brian Dublé there on the front stretch, headed to the start-finish lane, but hell of a save by Tony Solari, as we're going to kick it over to the Nerd TV replay and see if we can catch this. Here we are getting loose, overcorrects, and woo! You know, a little more wheel input, and that would have been a different story, but excellent driving there by the 11 to keep that thing going straight.
Yeah, man, that's my Get a Grip award so far here tonight. Great job by Tony Solari to be able to save it. You know, he's been having a little bit of a tough luck situation recently, the last few weeks, but besides that, he's been doing very solid. Obviously, a driver who's into the playoffs, came in as the 6th seed, just a handful of points above the cutoff line. In fact, by about 6 points, if I am correct. So everybody here tonight needs to have a good run. And Jeremy, that's the thing about when you start at the top of these rounds, whether it be 16, 12, 8, these guys need to have good first races. If you can have a great first race, like you saw some guys do last night, even just getting playoff points and stage points really means a lot. We saw last night in the Cup Series race, Denny Hamlin practically was going to win that race just because of the pure dominance he had. Won the first 2 stages, had to come in and pit, thought he had a loose wheel. Turns out they did not. And if it weren't for that, and also not to mention the fact got involved in a wreck, if it weren't for those stage points, he probably would have been way deeper in the points, probably just above the cutoff line, exiting Darlington. So if you want to try to have a good opener to the playoffs, why not do it with a great night at Darlington here tonight? Because that way you could set yourself up for the next 2 races to have kind of a little bit of a cushion if you do, in fact, have a good one here tonight.
100% there, and as you were describing that there from last night, the 24 and the 31 have gotten around the 84 of Jamie Knott. Jamie got passed by the 31 of Jeff Chandler, and then down the front straight, they just pulled left and let Jose Acosta on the 24 by. So he dropped several car lengths back, but now that number 24 is slowly creeping in on your new race leader. The first lead change of this evening happening on lap 16, that being Jeff Chandler, new leader, as they come across the line here to complete lap 18, a third of the way through stage number 1. Shout out to our series sponsor, Mach-1 Performance. It's a race car fabrication shop that was started by Johnny Coy Jr. The shop has produced champions and winners of all sorts of racing divisions, from road circuits like the SCCA and NASA to dirt and pavement oval racing. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Mach-1 Performance to get your car in better shape and into victory lane today.
Looking at this number 23 machine of Brody Hanna, a guy who kind of has struggled so far since the start of this race. You see him -3 right now. Ryan Chapman was able to get by him, and you're riding on board with Robert Milikian, currently just right behind Brody Hanna. Oh, and Chapman looks like he gets into the wall just a little bit there through the center of 1 and 2. And, oh, he's going to throw a little bit of a block maybe got loose there, possibly letting he hit the wall there off turn number 2. That's going to enable the 23 Brody Hanna, Robert Milikian as well, right behind him. They'll both get by him as they're getting really loose. And also here comes James Wallace to take another spot. So in just half the lap, Jeremy, that 27 machine went from about 13th back to 16th.
Yeah, he hit that wall a ton there off turn number 2. If you watched yesterday's real-life race, it looked very similar to Christopher Bell's slap off of turn 2. Made pretty decent contact. You see some scrapes there on the right-hand side of that 27's door panel. He dropped back 3 spots there. I think maybe the 11 to Solari bounced off the wall there through 3 and 4. As tire wear is already setting in. We saw him yesterday do about 35, 40 laps before he did the pit. And here's an RTV replay. You see, it almost looked like a block. Like you said, initially looked like a block, like it was Alex Bowman trying to block the 99 of Daniel Suarez yesterday. But you see the bounce off the wall there, shoots low, and then says, hey, you know what? My car's slow. I'm hurt now. I'm going to let you guys go because I don't know what my car's going to look like. But right now behind the 27, they're stacking up a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously Ryan Chapman definitely holding up this crowd. It looks like that right front fender definitely pushed in a little bit of right side damage. Obviously, that was a pretty hard lick to the outside wall. We know how sensitive these cars can be with hitting the right front or the left front on walls in certain angles. They can bend toe links, they can break, and you see Brian Dublé right there just barely scraped the wall off turn number 2. So the best bet is to definitely keep it off the wall tonight. But I'm sure, Jeremy, that I think everybody's going to have some sort of Darlington stripe after tonight.
I'm going to say about 60% of the field will see some type of damage off the turn 2 wall and turn 4 maybe. Oh, Ryan Chapman into the wall there in the middle of 1 and 2 once more. 44 Chris Beck going to catch up to him. And one more time he hits the wall again. So I think maybe even the 44 slightly touched it. The 37 had to check up entering turn 3 to not hit the 44 Chris Beck. But Ryan Chapman really just needs to let these guys go because that car is really slow at the moment. Underneath now, the 44 is passing Ryan Chapman, crossing the line to complete lap 24.
Seen these guys go at it before. Remember back at Richmond a handful of weeks ago, 44-27 had a disagreement, and then the 44 decided to sail it off into turn 1. Oh, hard contact for the 27 of Ryan Chapman right in front of Dublé, Alan Solari, Ben Tracy, and also other drivers. And that's, oh no, oh my goodness, that 27 machine, there's got to be something wrong with that thing, Jeremy. If I were him, there's no point in staying out and waiting for this competition caution. They're going to have to pit anyways here, probably around the lap 40 mark, man. Oh no, and he's sideways. This 27 has to come in this time. He's limping at this point.
Yeah, we see this the view here from his camera angle, and I expected a little bit more there, but you know, when you have 3 toothpicks holding your rack and pinion system here, you hit the wall and they're gonna break, right? So something's definitely broken in the toe link, maybe the steering, who knows? But either way, it's not performing to where it needs to be. He does take your advice there, drops down to pit road on lap number 26 to come to the service of his crew. And hopefully it's not too much repair because he's going to go at least 2 to 3 laps down, if not more. But now we're looking back at the 24, who is your new race leader. Where did the 31 of Jeff Chandler go? He's 3.5 back. He was your leader about 10 laps prior.
Yeah, interesting to see possibly maybe we can get an update about Jeff Chandler. And here it is right here down the front straightaway. These two are battling. It looks like the 24. Did the 31 maybe make contact with the outside wall? We'll have to see. Going to get a replay. It looks like just from that little rewind, I never saw the 31 looked like he was into the wall at all. I think the 24 simply got by him. It looks like off 4. Yeah, there's no contact. A very, very interesting move on Jeff Chandler's part right there. Maybe we'll have to get an update, see if we can find out some information.
Yeah, I just went back and watched him through my camera angles, and his car is just really slow. Every single corner, essentially, from the time the 24 passed him, he let the next car go. So he dropped to the inside, let one car pass, gets to the next corner, drops to the inside, lets him pass. And so all that niceness that Jeff Chandler just did for those guys up now in the top 4 has dropped him back 3.8 seconds off the 24 of Jose Acosta. So did not hit the wall, though, so I can't confirm his car is A-OK. It's just he has lost the handling on it. I'm sure the tire wear is greater than some of these guys in front of him. And so now you just got to have to baby it here because we still, you know, stage break 65 on lap 65. But we're not even at lap 30 yet. So take care of that thing the rest of the way.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And with Jeff Chandler, too, it's not like that thing is super, super slow, Jeremy. I mean, he's running faster lap times than the guys from second on to back to Richie Coy in 4th. So it's not like that 31 is like super, super slow. I wonder if he maybe is just like saving the tires very, very, very aggressively and not like in always burning up the tires. Like I'm pretty sure you can, you know, pick up what I'm putting down. So I think that 31 probably is just saving a lot of tire per se. Because of how long this stage is, with 65 laps, I believe it is, when we do take that stage caution. Yes, it is lap 65, so there's still a long way to go. We're not even halfway yet to that first stage yet, so it's going to be a little ways away. So if you're Jeff Chandler, you're just making sure that you can keep the tires on that thing, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I was looking at the lap times, and the last lap by Jeff Chandler had the fastest lap posted by almost an entire 1/10 of a second. So car is A-OK, I would say. This time around, he is not the fastest. The fastest this time belongs to the 84 there, Jamie Knopp. So within the top 5, these guys are just kind of trading best times here. Jose Acosta running not the fastest, but he's running very consecutive times, or very consistent times rather. So that's why he's able to keep where he is at right now, cycling through the field here. Oh, you see the 22 Malikian. I think he might have scrubbed the wall there on corner exit. But if you notice, all these cars are really spaced out. And so, do we see a pit stop here? I don't know if the tire or the fuel mileage can make 70 laps. I think it might be able to, but the tires are the question. Is it more beneficial to cut this stage in half, come down pit road, and take care of the stuff?
Yeah, it just all depends here, Jeremy. I don't see these cars being able to make it a full 65 laps. But with that being said, I mean, we saw guys come down pit road, just about 30, 40 laps, into a run in yesterday's cup race. But see, here's the difference between the cup race compared to tonight. Obviously, those guys had a lot more tires, set of tires behind the wall than these guys do. These guys only have the one set on that they start the race with, plus 4 extra sets behind the wall. So you're looking at 5 total sets of tires you have to work here with tonight. So you have to use them wisely. And obviously, depending on the way that strategy goes about with, yellows, green flag runs, etc., you're going to have to time out and really debate on, hey, do I think that taking tires is the best time right now? Do I want to save them? Do I want to pit early? Do I want to short this? Do I want to make it a long run? Obviously, there's so many things about Darlington that just makes it so unpredictable with how much the tire wear is here. And also the limited tire sets because of how abrasive and old this track surface is. I mean, this track's been, open now for over 70 years. So this track just has so much character to it, from the awkward shape to it. There's so many factors that go into this. So, I mean, to say that we might see guys probably pit here pretty soon is probably pretty likely, I'd say. But obviously, there's definitely going to be varied strategies here because everybody wants to try to jab at points.
I don't know about you, but every time I see this track, I just think the surface is kind of new, right? But I always forget that this thing was paved long, long ago. I forget the exact number. I know it's in double digits, but it was see the 44. I think he might have made some contact, that being Chris Beck. But I also want to give a shout out to single car teams, and I say that because your top 3, Jose Acosta in the 24, belongs to Wolfpack Racing Team. He's by himself. 84, Jamie Knott, rather. He's part of LA Motorsports. He's a lone car driver on his team. And then the 06 in third place, Daniel Simmons, once again, by himself on his team, belongs to XL Motorsports. And in fourth place, we know Richie Coy. He's part of Fury. He's got a good, strong group of guys. He's like the Hendrick Motorsports, right, coming into this thing. And then you got these lone car driver teams. Not exactly, but kind of like a Michael McDowell situation. Those guys are just, they're doing it by themselves, and they're faster than the guys who have other people to rely on data from, and also the 31 of Jeff Chandler. He's by himself there on Hyperforce Esports. So all these guys, or most of these guys in the top 5, are just doing it by themselves, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, and it's really neat, obviously. And look at this driver right here, this 6 of Kyle Milliken. We talk about drivers and having good days. There's 2 right there. You see Kyle Milliken, Michael Blackner. Remember back at Watkins Glen, had somebody in the comments, I believe it was somebody, or maybe it wasn't Watkins Glen, but we'll just go with some race. Somebody said to us that Michael Blackner was like the Tyler Reddick here of this series. Fast everywhere he goes, very good on the road courses, similar to Tyler Reddick, but unfortunately just catches a lot of bad breaks, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's just how his season has seemed to be running. And so far, up 2 spots from where he started, sitting in 7th. And then you have Kyle Milliken, who's 6th, up 4 spots from where he started, who clutched up with a win at Daytona last week. And now he's looking to try to overtake the guy who was the 2nd seed coming into tonight. So a big statement out of this Martini and Rossi number 42 Mustang.
And Jeff Chandler opens the door, says, hey, I know you're faster. I got a slow exit there off turn 2. I'll give you the position. So welcome Kyle Milliken into the top 5 here for the Darlington 250. Completing lap number 41 that time around at the start-finish line. And this guy, I'm sure had a huge boost of momentum winning the race last week. First win of the season, locks him into play. He was not going to be if it was on points. So it was a must-win situation. The 42 does it. And now he's sitting in the top 5. So I'm sure that's playing in the factor of how he's performing so well here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. I mean, obviously, what's the biggest thing besides fast cars and good group of guys, around you? as a race car driver, momentum. Absolutely momentum. Big, big, big factor. And that's not just for racing. That goes for really uh, all sports in general. I mean, you have that boost of confidence. You're riding the momentum train. Your drivers, like Kyle Milliken, like Michael Blackner. Michael Blackner is still on that momentum train, back from, obviously with Watkins Glen, was able to win that race. He's in the playoffs. You look at it too. There's so many factors with Michael Blackner this season that have just been so, so strong. So we'll have to see how his season goes. We'll have to see how other drivers' seasons will go here for the remainder of the season. I mean, there's just so many factors to it. This is going to be a long 10 weeks for these guys.
Well, one way to make your season a little bit better, especially in this open racing stuff, is you head over to TWRS, Team Watson Racing Setups, is your leading name in quality, affordability, and professionalism. With a staff of decorated, distinguished, and dedicated setup builders, TWRS delivers top-notch race and championship-winning setups to the iRacing garages of drivers across the simulation community. Check out a full list of services at teamwatsonracing.com to get your virtual car into victory lane today.
I tell you what, we're looking at somebody who usually runs those TWRS setups, and that's Richie Coy, man. He's kind of struggling right now with that car. A really, really slow lap time. The last couple laps, in the mid 31s. Not something you usually see out of the driver, the number 19. Usually always very strong on the short, medium, long length runs. No matter what it is, this number 19 Ford Mustang from Fury Motorsports always seems to find his way up to the front, always consistent. Now, this is not a bad night for the 19, obviously. We're only 46, 47 laps in now. But with that being said, Richie Coy really has only made a couple positions of progress. Lost one there to Kyle Milliken, who is continuing his march up towards the front of the field. I think this number 19, when they do in fact get to the end of this stage, that number 19 is definitely going to be making some sort of adjustment, some sort of tire pressure, maybe some tape on the grill. We'll have to see here, but that number 19, definitely not the kind of run I thought he was going to have here so far.
You know what? This is really homework night for the 19 and Richie Coy, because if we pick it over to our weekly schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we do this thing here on Nerd TV. And tomorrow night, we're going to be at the RSR Next Generation Cup Series. You're going to catch probably Richie Coy there tomorrow. And tonight being a night where he doesn't have to perform at his potential, right? He has a 20-some point lead over the cut line. So he can just take this night, use the homework, and go for that Tuesday series that we're going to cover tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, we jump over to the Martin Sports Truck Series here as they go for race number 2 of 10 for their championship playoff season. But Richie Coy will be using this race as a pick for tomorrow to hopefully perform, as we saw Matt Hayden jump in our broadcast at the green flag rather. He's using it as homework himself. So Richie does not need to go top 5 even here tonight. He can just kind of ride along, figure things out for that car, and we'll see him perform there tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Jeremy. And obviously, more seat time is good seat time, and there's no such thing as bad seat time unless you're a driver who's getting wrecked on lap 1 and being out of a race. This is just more and more seat time for Richie Coy. Obviously wants to do big things here on iRacing in the future. He's practically dominated the FTSR season here, whether it be Martin Sports Truck Series or the Mach-1 Performance Cup Series, and now going over to the RSR Next Generation Cup Series. He's been showing his muscle over there against drivers like Ryan Bean and also Nathan Campbell. So we'll have to see how Richie does there tomorrow night as you look from the back bumper of what would be Jose Acosta. Jose Acosta. He is under fire from Jamie Knopp, who's gotten back to the back bumper. Also, Daniel Simmons is there. Jeremy, these guys were strung out by about over a second and a half, 3 seconds. And look at this, because of lap traffic, because of tire degradation. I mean, this is crazy. This is a 3-horse battle for the lead right now here.
I love it. We're 50 laps into this thing, and we have a 3-car race right now going on in our hands here. 14 laps before we're going to get to the checker flag for this stage, and looks like there's a little bit of an issue on the track, maybe involving the 31 and the 23. I'm not too sure, but this is a great race. We're going to keep our eye on this thing here. This is for, this is points. This is points for the season here. So we'll see how the 84 can perform here in these final laps.
Absolutely. I mean, and we're closing in here. Once they hit, oh no, the 24 up and into the wall, brushes it off turn number 4. Here comes Jamie Knopf. He'll go to the inside of the racetrack, down in 1 and 2. 24 nearly slaps the wall, and Knopf will just barely clear that number 24. This time off turn number 2, opens up the door for Daniel Simmons. What will he do with it? Not a good enough run, down into 3 and 4. And Jamie Knopf, race leader yet again here at Darlington.
Takes the lead back, so that's going to be our third lead change amongst 3 different leaders here, the 84, the 31, and the 24 so far in this thing, as Jamie Knopf is now setting sail. The 06 Daniel Simmons needs to get around Jose to maybe keep up with Jamie Knopf, but right now, coming within 10 laps to go here in a couple laps of stage, Jamie Knopf sitting in a really good position.
Jamie Knopf is doing a really good job, and here's the one thing to keep in mind, Jeremy. Not only is he a rookie, but 14th seed. As you see Daniel Simmons get really loose off turn number 4. Jamie Knopf, 14th seed, minus 1 point back from the cutoff line, was tied with Ryan Chapman coming in to this tonight in the playoff grid. So this is everything that he needs, and not to mention the fact, too, guess what? Ryan Chapman out of this race. So this is looking to be almost a must-win situation for Ryan Chapman here these next 2 weeks if he wants to advance to that top 12, the round of 12, you could say, here after these next 3 races are done.
Yeah, he was coming in this thing 13th on the boards. He was 1 point out of the cutout line with Michael Blackner in the 22 being in 12th. But this is going to definitely drop him back. This is going to put him probably minus 30, minus 35, somewhere around that ballpark. So, yeah, it is depending on how these guys perform, which right now Jamie Knopf is your leader. And you have Joshua Johnson, who's below the cutoff line. He's only 2 spots ahead of Ryan Chapman, so that's not terrible for him. And then Brian Dublé, last one on the board. He's not running too bad right now, running in 13th place about midway through this pack. So, as things starting to wind down, the 24 really under fire by Daniel Simmons here off 1 and 2. Nose to tail, the 06. It is so hard to pass here at Darlington for those who have not raced here. It's just you have to make the guy make a mistake, or you just got to undercut him somehow, get a great launch off corner exit. But 06 kind of trapped behind the 24 at the moment.
Trapped behind the 24 here, and they might be able to use the 14 of Lane Allen as a pick. And whoa, Lane Allen just... I don't know what Jose Acosta thought there. I thought the 14 was going to let him down on the bottom and turned. Oh, no. It looks like the 14 is going to hit the wall. Thought he was going to come back down to the 06, but the 24 quickly decided instead of going to the top, he was going to go to the bottom. 14 went up top and ultimately used him as a pick to keep Daniel Simmons back behind him. And we got a problem with TJ Bartel. Looks like possibly some damage to the right side of that Tony Stewart throwback. Very well off the pace, falling all the way back to the... we got crashed! Chris Beck around hard contact, looked like with one of the inside or outside retaining walls, and the front grille is destroyed on that number 44 U.S. Air Force Camaro.
All started with the number 7 Wayne Grossi, slaps the outside wall of turn 2 really hard here, and it has nowhere to go for Chris Beck. You see, boom, boom, domino effect there. 44 just delivers the hardest hit to the inside wall there. Almost a 90-degree angle to that inside wall. And that's a 2-car wreck. Going to bring up the caution for the first time, presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. And I just had in my ear admin saying this is not stage end because we're not inside 5 laps. So we'll have a restart here. But there's the contact from the helmet camera. Chris Beck, heavy impact to the inside wall.
I think, Jeremy, when you look at this here, pit road's obviously going to be open. Which of these guys are going to try to leapfrog other drivers in the pits once this stage ends? Looks like Jamie Knopf might be bringing him down pit road. Will he fake him? Will he stay in? He's going to stay in. A few drivers coming in this time. Question's going to be who will stay out. Daniel Simmons is going to stay out on the racetrack. He wants those valuable playoff points to try to see if he can capture this one. You also have Kyle Milliken, Richie Coy, Jeff Chandler, lots of guys staying out. Will this be the right call for that number 80 Ford machine? I'm not a crew chief. I can't tell you that. We'll have to see here what he does on this restart coming up.
Tires, tires, tires. That's all I'm going to say there. It's so important at Darlington. And running even 3 green flag laps, 2 green flag laps on your tires here, that's going to put the 84, the 24, the 25, these guys into a weird predicament here. And they're going to be 2 laps, more on the tires, and that's about a tenth of a second. So I think staying out was the best call here, me personally. But these guys right now, the 24, 84, they're going to resume as your race leaders once again after this stage is ending. So we'll get a great glimpse of how this is going to look here for Tyler.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. And obviously, now that Daniel Simmons is going to maintain this lead, realistically, we're only going to have a restart for the stage with about 3, maybe 2 laps to go. Depends here. We're coming around to lap 62. So if you take a look at it, yeah, about 3 to 2 laps of green flag racing. And then those guys, they're going to be able to push like if you are, Jamie Knopf, Jose Acosta, you can push, and you're not going to wear that much tire out when these guys do come into the pits after the stage break. They're practically going to be on the same strategy as you. So I think Jamie Knopf and Jose Acosta, this could have been the right move. They could still earn some points here getting up through it. But remember, old tires versus new tires, we've seen how much trouble this brings at Darlington. They're going to have to quickly make their moves and maneuver around this traffic in front of them very swiftly.
I see Matt Keach has beaten Jason there to the stat books. Matt Keach said that reminded me of when Jimmy Johnson wrecked off of Chris Buescher in 2020, that wall slap there with the 44 and the 7 off of turn 2. And I want to give a shout out to the 14 Lane Allen. He is your hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award winner presented by Martin Sports Series. He went around, got his lap back. He's going to be back on the lead lap here. And then also that 57 Joshua Johnson, he's up front, but he's getting his lap back kind of sort of the hard way. Once it goes 1 to green, he's going to get waved around to the tail end of the longest line, I presume. So this will bring 06 Daniel Simmons to the front here for this 2-lap shootout I do believe we're going to have.
Yeah, I mean, this should be about 2 laps here. We should be taking the 1 to go this time by. Daniel Simmons going to be leading him down to green. I'm going to be keeping my eye on, though, Jamie Knopf and Jose Casa rounding out right now 11th and 12th. I really, really am interested, Jeremy, to see how these guys do on this restart to see if they can make it up.
And see the 57 does go around there, so he will get his lap back the hard way there. At least 1 of 2. I think he's still going to be scored 1 lap down here. But they're going to stack them up. This is going to be a very exciting 2 laps here. I have no idea who's going to do what, but it looks like from the initial start, the high side is where you wanted to be. So I'm going to see Kyle Milliken as maybe a contender to win this stage, which I don't think he had any stage win at all. I think his first checker flag was the checker flag to end the race last week. So we'll find out here momentarily.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting start, to say the least. Obviously, Kyle Milliken looking right on that outside row to try to see what he can do. Also, Michael Blackner, Robert Milikian, lots of guys up here who are in the playoffs, Jeremy, need these stage points. They're going to be fighting for all it's worth here. 2 laps to go when they come down to the green flag.
I'm going to correct myself. So the 42 does have 1 stage win prior, so this might be a second one here, but we're about to go green. Just waiting on premature Patrick to throw the green flag for the 2 to go, and there it is. Green flag is in the air for the session. Kyle Milliken beats Jamie Knopf to the line there just by a nose coming to turn number 1, and there's that preferred groove on its way. 42 clears the 06 here. Richie Coy gets a great launch on the inside of the 31. They're going to go single file for the top 3. The 87 there, Michael Blackner, almost maintained with Jeff Chandler, but the eyesight still prevails there. Jeff Chandler's going to slide into 4th.
And Jamie Knopf, look at this here, Jeremy, all the way up to 8th. Them tires prevailing. Look at him wrapping that bottom right on that non-existent apron here at Darlington. Oh, Tony Solari loose again like he was earlier on in the race, was able to save it. 1 lap to go, though, in the stage. Jamie Knopf trying to earn all the points he can, but it's all Kyle Milliken up at the front of the field trying to hold off Daniel Simmons of the 06 machine.
And 1 car, 2 cars going way on the inside there off corner exit, but looks like everything's going to remain. Oh, they'll throw. Never mind. Michael Blackner into the wall. Going to not have the wall glue there, but he's going to lose quite a few spots here. It's 22, the 80, or the 99 rather. But to the line, Kyle Milliken of the 42 gets 2 checker flags back-to-back. Last week's race winner, and the stage win here. It's going to set the second caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee. Congratulations on Kyle Milliken to continue the momentum. It's going to put himself above the cut line with those bonus points there. But at, we're going to finish this one off by going to picture-in-picture commercial break for the first time this evening. These guys are going to head down pit road, get their stuffs all taken care of, and we'll be back shortly before the drop of the green flag on stage 2. And we're back to full screen here as we got a lap and a half left before we're going to go to green flag racing for stage 2. It's going to be resuming on lap 71. I'm going to try to quickly go over the Nerd TV top 10 recap if we can. The number 24, Jose Acosta, up 3 spots from 4th to 1st. Going to be on this restart here. P1 is he and the 84 and the 25 who've all pitted a couple laps prior to shortcut the stage, and that's who's going to be 1, 2, 3. Jamie Knopp in 2nd place. One of these strongest cars. He just needs to hope to save a little bit of tire for the long run there, but the short and the middle run, that car is a rocket ship. 3rd place, Stephen Hollingsworth jumps 4 spots on the strategy call there. Going to put himself P3 on this restart. Wayne Grossi, who helped Chris Beck bring out the first caution this evening, finds himself P4 as he shortcutted that pit stop as well to fix damage. And then Brody Hanna up 6 spots, going to be restarting in 5th. Sherwood Williford up 14 spots. The 33 car is going to be starting in 6th place on the outside. TJ Bartell, one of those guys that gave up a bunch of track position right before stage, up 7 spots, so he's probably on that strategy there too. He's going to be restarting 7th. 8th place will be the number 4, Chad Lang, Chris Beck's teammate there. And in the playoffs here, he's pretty well secured. He's got to have a pretty solid couple races, and he's going to lock himself in round number 2. And then Brian Dublé, 23rd to 9th, another big jump up here inside the top 10. And then Danny LaFleur, part of Moreau Motorsports, going to be up 8 positions, going to be starting on Dublay's outside in 10th place. And that is your Nerd TV top 10 recap. And pace car is dipping down right now. Jose is going to be leading this field to the green flag on lap 71. So we got 114 laps to go at the green flag here. Green flag is out. Jose with a great start over the number 84, Jamie Knopp. 25 of Hollingsworth gets a nose into second place here. But I think this, oh no, 25 actually secured that spot there, dives it deep into turn 1, makes it happen. A lot of guys still side by side through 1 and 2.
And as they go through 1 and 2, you see that number 99, LaFleur, he's going around that 37, pulls the crossover move down to the bottom of TJ Bartel. More battling throughout this field. There's the top 2 big dogs here in the Mach-1 Performance Cup Series going at it. Richie Coy getting passed by the 31 of Jeff Chandler on the outside. And now Chandler trying to make a move to the bottom of Daniel Simmons with Chad Lang now to the inside of Williford into 1 and 2.
This is going to get real sketchy. A lot of these guys in the top 10 did the strategy call and have the couple lap old tires. So we're going to see how the 19, the 31, the 42, and all these guys that were in the front get through, so to speak, lap traffic, or at least slower traffic, how you want to call it there. Oh, almost contact from the 31 and the 42 getting to turn 3 there. Does not make any, though. Coming through turn 4, the 42 had to do a huge check up there. Allows Jeff Chandler to make the pass, and the 06 Daniel Simmons doing a little drafting. Almost looks to make the pass, does not, as they go through 1 and 2.
Entered into turn 1 really, really high. Lost not 1, but 2 spots. He'll drift back now, which would be to the 13th position. They all single file out down the back straightaway. Here comes Rob Tracy. He'll head to the inside of, that would be James Wallace through the corner. Some guys still trying to take advantage of this restart here. Just a few laps into it. Here comes LaFleur. He'll head down to the inside of Chad Lang, and he'll take the spot away from him. 6th spot, the number 99 goes to in 1 and 2.
Really curious to see how he performs because, you know, 2/3 through that stage 1 there, the 99 was on the tail end of the lead lap. So it looked like the long run was not there for him, but right now he's got a great chance to showcase what he's got here for the FTSR boys. Focusing back in on the 42, Kyle Milliken, stage winner here. Gets through 3 and 4 pretty clean. The 31, Jeff Chandler, looking to the inside of the 77 at TJ Bartel, makes that pass as the 77 gives it up.
Yeah, and I think to that 31 machine of Jeff Chandler, he's been very fast, and obviously had the lead at one point, drifted back. Now he's back to the 10th spot, so he's in more dirty air than he's been through all night long. So we'll have to see how he does. I will say he's doing a lot better job than his friendly rivalry with Richie Coy. I guess that's what you could really call it. The 2 top dogs of the Mach-1 Performance Cup Series so far, from Season B all the way to this top of Season C. He's been doing a really good job getting through traffic, better than Richie Coy. I think that 31 car just has a slight advantage over that number 19, who's been dominant all season long. But here comes Jose Acosta back up at the front of the field, trying to make a move on that 25 Folgers Ford.
Yeah, he's got the lead here a few laps prior, and this is your 4th leader amongst 5 different lead changes. Number 25, Stephen Hollingsworth, welcome to P number 1. Doing some great work, but he's always had the short run cart. Almost every single week we see him contending for at least the top 5, but the long run seems to just plague him, and right now he's going to have to really showcase what he has got, because Darlington is one of the worst tracks on your tires because of just how you have to drive these corners. A lot of apexing, a lot of diamonding. You got to do a lot of things here variable to your car, which tires do not like it. Let's face it, it's just they hate going from a diamond top to the bottom and whatnot. Jose Acosta seems to have the better entrance here, but allows for Stephen Hollingsworth to get the great exit. About a car length separation between these 2 guys heading off into 3.
Yeah, some more battling back throughout the pack here. You see TJ Bartel under fire from Richie Coy, who's trying to pick up about 2 spots. He'll throw the slider on him. Almost puts him up into the wall. Very close call there between the 19 and then the 77 off turn number 4. That was heading into turn 3. So you could just imagine that TJ Bartel's probably saying, yeah, you're welcome, buddy, there, heading into 3 and 4, because that was awfully, awfully tight there into the center of 3 and 4. But this is a big gaggle of traffic here down the back straight. Look at Kyle Milliken shoot out like a dart on a dartboard there. He'll head down to the bottom in 3 and 4. Here's a replay back to that slide job from Richie Coy. But remember, Jeremy, this is the kind of moves you got to pull at Darlington. It's so hard to pass here. You got to just try to do your best. Make sure that the guy behind you gives you a little bit of extra wiggle room.
Man, what a move there. And he actually gave the 77 maybe enough space for one car length. And that was a well executed move. And you're right. They did come on the radio, but it was for more of a friendship thing, saying, sorry about that. And the 77 was like, it's all right. But then the 42, you said he darted down low. The 77 of Bartel really checked up super early on quarter entrance there in turn 3 a lap ago. And it made the 42 make that dive to the bottom, or else he was going to just plow through his car and cause a wreck. So great heads up there to avoid the 77, and he did an early break into the turn. But the 77 now is trying to get back to the 19, a little loose this time off of turn number 2. And 3 car lengths separate the 19 to the 77 and the 77 to the 42, and so on and so forth. These are starting to space each other out here as we're approaching halfway.
You know something, it didn't just occur to me till right now, Jeremy. If I'm correct, when we talked to last week's winner at Daytona of Kyle Milliken, if I'm correct, if my memory is good enough, I remember Kyle Milliken telling us something like this, that he was going to be away for next week and for Bristol, and his goal heading into Darlington was to accumulate as many points as he can, and for all the guys behind him in points, all the guys in front of him in points, basically everybody in general who was in the playoffs to have some sort of bad night. And you can imagine Kyle Milliken got a check on the box tonight for winning that first and only stage. So I think that's why we're seeing Kyle Milliken drive so aggressively tonight. And whoa, look at this. We're rewinding it back like a VCR tape. Josh Johnson, super loose, one of the playoff contenders. Off turn 4, was able to save it. Oh, we got a little bit of contact, though. That wasn't just a little bit, Jeremy. That was a lot there off 4.
That was a lot of bit of contact there. Is that 57? Second time he's made significant impact to the right front of that machine there. And yeah, you are correct. This is his only race he's going to make. So he has to get everything he can this race, and that's why he's trying to do everything he possibly can here in this event. Because, the next 2 weeks are a no-go, which is a tall order to begin with, but he's making it just a touch easier by winning stage and running up in the front here tonight. But this field is kind of spaced out, and we're getting close to halfway. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go turn up the tunes. We're going to listen to all the sounds of these cars going around Darlington Raceway. We'll be back here in just a few laps. And back to full screen coverage here, and we have our third caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee on the track here. As we're kicking over to the Nerd TV replay and seeing exactly what happened. The 77 Bartel looks like, really loose corner exit, and absolutely destroys. And here comes the field, and great heads up there. 33 goes really low. Everybody else stays high. But man, that was such a late spin out there coming off turn 4. I think he almost hit the straightaway part of the track. Oh, actually, he's losing it right there. Just dog walking. Yep, comes up the track, and there it is. Nothing he can do. When you start dog walking it there on corner exit, sliding up the banking, it is almost impossible, especially these next-gen cars. And that is going to end TJ Bartel's night because hoods off, fenders are off. That thing's all but toast.
Yeah, for sure. It really, Jeremy, at the end of the day, was just throttle plus the seam plus the transition from the banking onto a lower degree surface. And unfortunately, that's what turned that 77 machine around right in front of the field. What a hit. Two big hits we've seen tonight. One out of Chris Beck, and tonight now TJ Bartell. Thankfully, though, on TJ Bartell's case, I know obviously he doesn't want to hear this, and I know he doesn't want to, be out of the race, but hey, at least he's not a playoff driver, because that just makes your night a whole lot more stressful, a whole lot more grieving. And thankfully, he was not in the playoff contention tonight, or else that would have stung a lot more than it did.
Yeah, 100% there. And according to Matt Keach, that car is junk. So that's the second guy who smashed the inside wall, one off of turn 2 and this one off of turn 4. But we're going to jump to a quick picture-in-picture commercial break. Be back shortly before the drop of the green flag for the 4th time this evening. And back to full screen here is we're going to go green flag for the 4th time on lap number 93. So we're just basically out or after the halfway point of tonight's event here. And 3 cars stayed out. It looks like the 25 of Stephen Hollingsworth will resume as your race leader, electing to choose the outside lane, which is probably the preferred lane I've seen all restarts minus the last one. The 23 of Brody Hand is going to pick up some track position, going to be starting in 2nd place. And then the 99 of Danny LaFleur, he's going to be starting in 3rd from his 18th place starting. Remember, he did this before the stage. He came down pit road during that first caution, jumped up halfway through the field, and now once more is going to put himself in the top 5. I don't know about this one. There's some laps on these tires now. So I'd see these guys maybe maintaining top 10, but inside the top 5, I think you're just going to forget about it. These guys are way too fast. We're about to find out here. Pace car is down, waiting for the green flag. They're in the restart zone, and there it is. Green flag is out. We are underway here. The 25 gets a great launch over Brody Ham. The 23 going to able to clear him before corner entrance here. The 24 of Jose Acosta getting side by side with the 23 Hannum, and he's going to pass him no problem there. The 99 of LaFleur is going to resume in 4th. Jamie Knopp in 5th. They're single file till you get to Brian Dublé and Kyle Milliken there on corner exit.
And down the back straightaway they go into turn number 3. You see Richie Coy. He'll work down to the inside of Kyle Milliken, try to throw the slider. Robert Milliken behind Milliken. Kind of had to check up a little bit there off turns 3 and 4 from near contact, but down the start finish line. Hollingsworth still holding the lead.
A little bit of or a double file here just around the top 10 area, and they're almost all but single filed here coming through turn 2, and it looks like that will be the case for single file. A little bit of shuffle there. 22 Malikian looking to go to the inside now. Michael Blackner in the 87 get his nose to the inside. It's such a hard pass there and cannot do it. They're going to go back to single file, or 33 all over the back bumper. The 22 there remains single file as well, but right now we got a little bit of a pass attempt, but the 7 of Wayne Grossi really checks up behind Jeff Chandler. Still remains single file through 1 and 2.
Through 1 and 2 down the back straight right now. Whoa, Brody Hanna gets a little bit loose on corner exit. Lots of other guys in the back of the field. You saw right there, that was the 33 machine of Sherwood Williford. He got sideways as well. Everybody, though, trying to maintain that outside advantage because they just know it's so fast. Battle for the race lead, though. Back up at the front of the field. Acosta puts the 24 back to lead, and the 25 of Hollingsworth slaps the wall on corner entry. And off turn number 2, the 24 trying to set sail away from the 25 and the 84 down the back.
Yeah, you saw the sparks fly off the right rear of the 25. Stephen Hollingsworth through 1 and 2, giving too much room to the 24, and now he's got about a 10th car length lead coming to the start-finish line to complete lap number 96. And the 3 guys that stayed out, well, Brody Hanna is already going to be dropped back from 2nd place to 9th right now. Danny LaFleur back from 3rd to 7th. And Stephen Hollingsworth, who restarted 1st, is holding up the best still in 2nd place. I knew the top 5, they were not going to last too long, but this 25 has really surprised me, able to hold his ground as Jamie Knopp in the 84 makes his pass, and maybe here comes the start of the train as Jeff Chandler's in the wake.
Jeff Chandler's really putting the afterburners on currently right now. Ever since this green flag came back out, he's closing in on the 25. Hollingsworth watches him slide up the banking in 1 and 2, about to head down the Boeing back straightaway, and Hollingsworth still trying to defend. Jeff Chandler heading into 3 and 4, trying to make a run at Knopf. Just not going to be enough. Chandler all over the back bumper of the 25. He'll look to the inside, make quick work of him with those newer tires. Jeff Chandler goes back to the podium now.
99 LaFleur giving up some spots here to the 19 of Richie Coy, and under fire there by Kyle Milliken. He gets past. He's going to drop a couple more spots there. He's now right in front of the 23 Brody Hanna, who played the strategy call with him. Coming through 1 and 2, the 88 now looking, that's Robert Tracy. 23 goes to the inside to let them by, knowing that they got much faster cars. So the strategy not playing to Brody Hanna's favor. He's already halfway into this field. And this is only a handful laps after the green flag. So this trend will continue to go until the rest of the tires kind of mellow out. So if you don't know now, now's the time to take the note saying, do not make that strategy call to stay out after 5 or so laps, because it is not worth it.
Yeah, definitely, to say the least here, Jeremy. We'll have to see how this obviously plays into effect for drivers like Brody Hanna and others, but still, this is just a strategy call race. If we do in fact go green all the way to the end, what strategy is going to play the best way? Will it be the guys who pitted around lap 89? Will it be the guys who pitted around the lap 60 range? That we'll have to find out here, as now we're just under 84 laps to go. This time by down the back straightaway, 3-car horse race for the lead right now. Knopp looks to go to the outside while Acosta maintains the bottom off turns 3 and 4. Jeff Chandler's got a little bit of a run on Jamie Knopp, but they're still single file as they work down into turns 1 and 2 now. 83 laps to go from Darlington.
As they're racing now, Brody Hanna had a big group of cars right behind him trying to pass, and it caused a little bit of checkup off turn 4. Contact was made a few spots back with the 11 of Tony Solari. Had to do a big checkup there. They scrambled. Now they're kind of spaced out at the moment. Here we go to seeing the 63 of Ben Tracy. He's going to make the pass quick and easy over the 23 now. But jumping back over to your race lead, that is now back once again as the best race on the track. The 24, this is the first time we've really seen him lead with competition directly behind him, and some of the best here at FTSR in the Mach-1 Performance Cup Series. So I'm really curious to see how this 24 can handle this pressure here, as we're over lap 100. We got less than 80 laps to go.
With less than 80 laps to go, Jose Casa doing a really good job here all night long. We talked about him earlier on in the broadcast. Jeremy mentioned 2 starts so far in his FTSR career for the Mach-1 Performance Cup, a 5th and a 7th place finish, all from starting further back than where he finished. So this would be a win tonight for Acosta if he could continue that momentum. And sure enough, he is riding the momentum train. Did not race at Daytona last week, but here he is racing at Darlington, barely scuffs the wall off turn number 4, doing a great job at holding off two of the best drivers so far here in the Mach-1 Cup.
Nicholas Moreau back on the chats, replying to Matt Keach, that car is junk. And, well, the one thing I have to say to that is probably going to have to agree with you to an extent, but the new tire model is coming out as they are refocusing on that thing once more. So maybe, just maybe, we'll have a much better tire maybe at the end of this year, early next year. Who knows? I want to give a shout out to Sim Racing Points, your all-inclusive league points management system that allows league owners and admins the ability to completely track your league stats and more with one simple upload of the race export. But they don't stop there for the admin webmasters. They allow for the creation of customized widgets for any league website to fully display points, results, and more that easily update when results are uploaded. With just a few simple clicks of the mouse, any league can be up and running and looking good while doing it. So check out their pricing plans at simracingpoints.com, and they're free. They used to be a paid service, but at the moment they are free. So no better time than now to jump over to simracingpoints.com.
Tell you what, that Sim Racing Points created FTSR playoff tab on the website. It's definitely going to change up a little bit after this race, no doubt about it. Lots of guys in the playoffs having issues tonight. Talk about Ryan Chapman, Josh Johnson, Brody Hanna as well, back to 21st after a strategy that was deemed not that good from us up here in the booth, just from the way that he's been falling back. Those point standings are going to change a whole lot tonight here in Germany after this one's said and done.
100%. I'm hearing Stephen Hollingsworth on 25 complaining about the car right now in the chats, and well, one of the 3 guys that stayed out. No wonder he thinks his car is complete junk, right? Everybody else just has that much better tire wear situation. So when you're the car falling back, of course you feel like it's going to feel like junk. But in reality, everyone's going to be the same way on the same lap count that you are. I remember he started this race, or this restart in first. Now it drops back to 13th behind the 33 of Sherwood Williford, as those 3 guys just continuing to fall back further and further to 99. Daniel LaFleur feeling it just as bad, back to 18th spot where he started, 109 laps ago, and he restarted 3rd. So that's 15 spots back. And these guys continue to get gobbled up. The 25 getting passed by the 14 now, the 22, the 63 continue to fall back. These guys are screaming for a caution if there's going to be another one.
Yeah, they would love to see a yellow, but if you think about it, Jeremy, I mean, these guys who probably just pitted at lap 89 are going to do the same. I mean, why wouldn't they? Think about it. Why would you want to stay out and risk having to go all the way with a green flag run? These guys are all going to pit too. So I honestly think probably the best case scenario for these guys is get to your window, like Stephen Hollingsworth's doing this time. Looked like he was coming into the pits, saw that car very low on the track. He could not take it anymore. I think in his eyes, he's either A, couldn't take it, or B, he just decided, hey, now's the time. We've hit our window. We're going to come down this time, take 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles and some Sunoco Racing fuel. This time he'll head down the pit lane and to come to service to his pit crew this time.
I know he was talking to his virtual crew members like Kyle Busch, and this car is a piece of what. There had to come down pit road to get this thing serviced. Hits the marks, and maybe this time, maybe the 80 or the 23 hand or the 99 there of Danny needs to come down pit road and maybe get their car serviced, knowing the situation the 25's in. But look at this 3-car race for the race lead. Still just amazing right now. They're miles ahead of everybody else, minus that 06 of Simmons. But man, 3 cars running 20 plus laps within a half a second of each other at most. This is pretty good stuff here.
Yeah, definitely. And when you look at this here, look at this top 3. You have non-playoff, playoff, playoff. And if you want to include 4th and 5th, you have non-playoff, playoff. So 3 out of the 10 guys inside the top 10 right now are not in the playoffs. And then obviously the rest of those guys highlighted in the green are. So this is very interesting. Remember last year at Darlington, Kyle Busch's misfortune late in the race, engine troubles, Obviously, with the transmission and whatnot, led him to fall out of the race very, very late in the race. Probably could have been his race to win. Ultimately, handed the race lead to Eric Jones, was able to hold off a hard charging Denny Hamlin. So this is looking like what it could be here tonight. Jose Acosta's been so fast these first 2 races he's ran, trying to prove a point here in the FTSR show here tonight.
As I think that pit stops might be looming here in the next 15 laps or so. I think this is a great time to go to picture-in-picture commercial break on the green flag here, and hopefully when we come back, we'll see pit stops momentarily, but we'll be right back. And we got a battle here for the race lead. Now the 84 of Knopp looking to the inside of the 24 of Jose Acosta. First time we've seen a look here for the lead since the drop of the green flag after the last caution break. And he quickly gives that up. And now we're going to be looking forward as we're going to move the camera up just a touch bit more as we're kind of simulating what we saw yesterday, which I fell in love with this camera here. It was looking through the spoiler just on the top right rear corner of this car, and really showcases how close these guys are getting to the wall.
Yeah, and look at all those little, like, stripes, or you could say, I don't even know what you could call them. You could call it, maybe it looks like mulch in a sense. If you ever looked and saw what mulch looks like when it's getting all spread out and it's kind of out where it's supposed to be, that's all that rubber. That's all up at the top of the racetrack. You could see it right up against that wall, right up in that dirty groove in 1 and 2, in parts of this racetrack where you don't necessarily want to be. You can just see how close to that outside wall that Jose Acosta is getting. You see him right here into 1 and 2. Right here, you're going to start to see the most rubber buildup off that corner, just because you don't want to be up to that outside groove once you get off corner exit. So great camera angles we got here tonight. And Jeremy, I absolutely do agree with you. Fell in love with that camera angle back when I saw it earlier on in NASCAR testing, when they tested the next-gen car at Homestead. Noah Gragson did a test as well in an Xfinity Series car, and I think they got that idea, decided to implement it to TV, and man, that thing has looked always so good every time they've used it.
I mean, when you look at these camera angles right now that you're seeing how close they get to the wall at times, right now that time through the 1 and 2, they did not. Ooh, the 84. Actually, this is 06 getting really loose there on corner exit. Able to maintain it going straight. Oh, 24 Jose Acosta into the wall, racing the 84 of Jamie Knopp. So this is now a lead change here. The 7th time I think we've had a lead change, 6th or 7th time. 84 to the point. Jose Acosta has a little bit of right side damage here.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe we can try to get a replay on it right here. They're probably more than likely racing side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Ultimately, the 24 probably fell victim to that outside wall. Going to take a look here. This is going into 3 and 4. The 24, yeah, just enters up in the corner a little bit higher. Remember, when you head to Darlington here, especially going down to turns 3 and 4, you don't want to have that kind of a run. You know, we keep talking about this driver, but Denny Hamlin was really known for it. Dale Jr. was talking about it earlier in the week on Saturday and on Sunday about why Denny Hamlin likes to enter that corner in turns 3 and 4 a lot higher than most guys would, and somehow, some way, gets an advantage out of it. And he said, "I'm not going to tell you because then obviously everybody's going to know and study it and find out." So he uses that as his little secret weapon. And unfortunately, there for that 24 machine, that wasn't the case. Just had to run that outside lane due to the 84 being on his inside. Ultimately, fell victim because that wasn't the traditional line entering 3.
Well, I can tell you that last year iRacing implemented a update for like the tracks like Homestead. Like people are trying to figure out why you get extra speed when you run up close to the wall. Well, it has to do with air pressure, right? You run so fast in some of these corners, you get up next to that wall, and you pack the air so dense between yourself and the wall that it kind of acts like a pillow. It kind of pushes you back to the inside of the track. So when you get close enough, it gives you a little extra turn, a little extra grip, helps your car rotate, get off the corner with a little bit more throttle, and you don't have to slide the tires as much, right? Because you're not shifting lanes, you're not going up, down, up, that kind of nature. So you hold your lane, and at the same token, you're using physics to keep your car off the wall. And so when you run a little bit higher like that, it causes that pocket of air. And so I do believe that's why a lot of these guys like to utilize it, especially in real life. Turn 3, they're up against that wall the entire corner. A little bit harder to do on the simulation platform, but yeah, that's definitely beneficial for you guys.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I'm definitely a guy who likes to run up against the outside wall. Not here, definitely not here. I am absolutely trash at Darlington. I can confirm and attest to that. But one track I absolutely loved running the outside on, believe it or not, was the Auto Club Speedway. Whether it be with the Gen 6 car, the Xfinity car. Oh, we have a caution on the racetrack, actually. Bring that point back later on. This is our 4th caution of the night presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. Gonna have to see where that ended up, but this is definitely gonna change this race, Jeremy, and turn it upside down.
I'm trying to look back here, and I didn't see it initially here. So once we find that car number, we'll bring that caution to you. But track looked pretty clean initially whenever I was looking through the cameras. I'm not noticing if you see anything on your side there, Jason. But oh, right there, the 88. It looks like. Off the backstretch there, Robert Tracy on lap 127, all by himself, gets loose off the exit of turn number 2. You see the aftermath and spinning right there. You see cars scattering. There's a 06, 33, 14, and a little VHS rewind there. Going to bring us back to 1 and 2. Gets loose and overcorrection there, and thankfully no one made contact with each other, and the 88 keeps it off the wall. Really good stuff there.
That was definitely a really good job by Rob Tracy, because when you saw that car overcorrect, seemed like it was going to shoot right into that outside retaining wall, but thankfully didn't. Good job by everybody around him to avoid them. And obviously now this could be the money stop. Pit stops right now, putting on them right sides. Left sides are about to go up. The jack goes up for Jamie Knopf. He's got Daniel Simmons behind him. Here comes Jose Acosta off the pit lane. Jamie Knopf wins the race off pit road by just about wheel length there. Off pit road. Lots of guys coming off. Daniel Simmons 3rd, Jeff Chandler 4th, Richie Coy 5th, Kyle Milliken 6th, Brian Dublé 8th, Stephen Hollingsworth was 7th, Michael Blackner 9th, Robert Milikian rounds out the top 10 off pit road. Good job by everybody there executing their pit stop, especially Jamie Knopf and Jose Acosta, who've been the class of the field.
This track, you really want your virtual crew members to just nail the pit stop, and the 24 got oh so close to getting the lead back. Virtue of his crew members, and while those guys are pitting, one of the guys who made the strategy call that fell a lap down, getting his lap back from the lucky dog. That's the 25 of Stephen Hollingsworth. He's already went back around, got his lap back. So that 25 will get your hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award, and that's going to put him on the lead lap. Probably going to be the 20th police car on the lead lap when we go back to green flag for the 5th time this evening, and that's going to leave one car left on that strategy call to not be on the lead lap. That's the 23 of Brody Hanna. So if we get one more caution, he's guaranteed that, at least for the time being, because the 17 is 4 laps down, so no pressure behind the 23. He just has to hope that Ben Tracy, Ryan Hendrick, Wayne Grossi, those guys in the back of the lead lap do not fall a lap down.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously now, with this caution, this could present a lot of opportunities for some guys. to get laps back. Obviously, Brody Hanna lap down right now. He's going to get that lucky dog and be on the lead lap too. This is a very interesting predicament. Remember last night we saw a plethora of cautions late in the race. Now, just our fourth caution of the night. So it's going to be interesting to see how this race progresses. Will we see drivers get more aggressive on those restarts? Will we see more guys in the back try to pull some strategy moves? Will they save their tires? We'll have to see here as we're getting ready to come to the green flag shortly.
One lap to green here. Shout out to one of our newer partners, Mr. Dusty Pete, over at Dusty Pete's, the Gifts and Collectible Shop, the official hobby shop for the Nerditudes. It's a hobby shop with a whole lot more. Based out of New York, Dusty Pete's is your one-stop shop for many things nerdy. So if collecting is the game, then Dusty Pete's is the name. From figurines and action figures to collectible cards such as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and sports cards from any sport to die-cast replicas, Dusty Pete's is the place. And they have comics. Plenty of comics for that matter. So if you're looking to update your comic collection or anything's nerdy for young ages, old ages, anything in between, they got your back. So if you're collecting anything's nerdy, if you're collecting anything nerdy rather, visit our official hobby shop partner of the Nerditudes at dustypetes.com. And when you head over to checkout, use Super Nerd, our infamous code there. It's going to save you 10% off. That's Super Nerd once more. Pace car is down though, turning our action back to the track here, going to the Geico restart zone. We'll see the green flag for the 5th time this evening. 84, Jamie Knopp's going to take the field to the green flag, and there we go. Dead heat between the 84 and the 24. And this is going to be one of the most interesting restarts here late into the race. About 50 laps, and everyone's side by side to the corner. So far, so good. 1 and 2 seems to be pretty clear, but we're still pretty racy. Oh, 42 heading to the wall.
Milking up and into the wall heavy. Looks like he's going to be able to keep it clean. I saw that Jeremy coming from a mile away. When I saw that 42 rip in the very top lane, once he got to the center of 1 and 2, I was like, uh-oh, this is not going to end well. Slaps the wall hard off turn number 2. Everybody, though, able to be clean down the back to the front now into turns 1 and 2 again. Jose Costa able to reclaim that lead from Jamie Knopp there on the restart just from being on that outside. And Tony Solari plows the wall. Crash back straight away. James Wallace around Tony Solari as well. 2 drivers involved. Heavy contact due to the 11 being up and out of the groove off turn number 2, and unfortunately collects a victim in it, that being James Wallace down the backstretch off 2.
Here's the Nerd TV replay of this, and I was thinking to myself, as they were side by side in 1 and 2, I knew this was going to happen, where the 11 was given the 99 tons of room as they remained side by side. I was actually hoping that the 11 would check up a little bit more, drop to the inside to shortcut the corner exit, but he remains his position on the top. And when you're on the top of 1 and 2 for so long, there is no way you're going to not hit the wall. You see him bounce off, crosses over the nose of the 67 James Wallace, and they both head toward the inside. And I think the 67 got the worst of it. He had that instant hood replacement somehow, but heavy damage to both these cars here with 50 laps to go.
Definitely both those cars probably going to be out for the remainder of the night, Jeremy, if I just had to guess. Not on pit road yet, but we'll have to see. James Wallace on pit road now. Here's another look at the replay from the outside. Yeah, you see the 11 already up and out of the groove. Talked about that just briefly earlier on a handful of laps ago about getting up into that very top groove off in the center of 1 and 2, and then you just can't get out of it, Jeremy. It's kind of like Thanos. It's inevitable, you know, as he says in Avengers Infinity War, and that's basically what it is. It's like you're heading towards Thanos off turn number 2, and unfortunately, the 11 couldn't escape Thanos, got into the wall right there, unfortunately came right down and collected James Wallace in that 67 machine.
No, I can't escape Thanos, right? As you see the 23 getting his lap back, get it real quick there. So the hashtag get a grip lucky dog for the 4th time this evening belongs. This time for the first time, the 23 Brody Hanna, he's going to cycle back. It's going to put 21 cars on the lead lap. 26 cars started this thing. It's only 5 lap down. 4 have expired. The only one not to expire so far is the 17 is Steve Loomis, remaining 4 laps down. So if we get another short caution, we're going to see Steve get one of those laps back. That 24, though, did pass the 84 for the race lead, so the 24 this time will have lane choice, and he'll be restarting this thing P1.
And I assume he's going to be taking this outside right here, Jeremy. No doubt about it here. So we'll have to see what he does. Obviously, the 84 of Jamie Knopf had the restart in hand last time around, was on the bottom. Don't really know why he chose the bottom. I think he thought he was going to get a better restart. Unfortunately, didn't. And that's what enabled Jose Costa to just go right around the outside because it's just been the dominant lane once you get into turn one here tonight.
I'm going to shout out one of our partners, Roasted Gems Coffee. The Roasted Gems Coffee offers premium coffee, or premium quality, ethically produced coffee gems from different parts of the world, coupled with delicious blends and flavors that'll make your taste buds melt with delight. Roasted Gems Coffee is the only place to quench your caffeinated coffee desires. Roasted Gems values your coffee experience with each order, roasted to perfection upon order and shipped straight to your door for peak flavor. So whether if you're looking for that mellow flavor with just a hint of caffeine to get your day started, or whether you want coffee so strong it'll show up on your drug test, Roasted Gems Coffee has you covered. And you're going to head over to roastedgems.com, and you're going to use our infamous code once more, Super Nerds with yes is going to save you 10% off anything you purchase from roastedgems.com.
I'm going to definitely need myself a cup of Roasted Gems in the morning with how this race is going, man. These guys have been having a blast out here tonight. We've been pretty packed up here in the booth. I mean, we've had moments where we've been so focused throughout this entire field. We've missed changes for the lead just because there's so much going on around this place. And that's the kind of product that Darlington puts on here. And with this fifth caution coming out and coming to the green flag this time by, I want to see if that 24 machine, Jeremy, can get a good enough restart to clear Jamie Knopf going into turn number one. We saw the last restart. Knopf chose the bottom, didn't get as good of a restart, enabled Jose Acosta on the outside lane, which Jamie Knopf will be restarting in to get right by him. So we'll have to see how this restart goes.
Yeah, we're about to find out in a half a lap here as we're under 50 laps to go in this event. 10:30 right now on the East Coast here, so we're probably going to see this thing conclude close to 11 p.m. We're at the fifth caution here. The first half of this racing be pretty clean, just like they did yesterday. So I would imagine at this rate, we're going to see another one or two here as things close down. Tempers are going to get a little higher. Action's going to get a little more packed. And people wanting to get themselves into podium spot, if not at least the bare minimum top 10 for the stats. Here we are. Green flag is out. The 24 leads these guys to the field. He has a half a car length over the 84. Jamie Knopf coming to turn number one. I think he's going to be able to slide in just like that. Going to be single file. Now Jeff Chandler with a strong attempt here. Going to keep his 84. He's running high off this corner exit. Able to keep it off the wall, but Brian Dublé cannot. Checks up the outside. Everyone's going to scramble on the backstretch.
I really thought that Jamie Knopf was going to actually get up into that off into turns 1 and 2. He was really high off of 2, but thankfully was able to slow it down enough, get the thing rotated off corner exit. Lots of guys, though, trouble in the back for Rob Tracy. He got loose, nearly collected that number. What number is that right there? That is Ben Tracy, the number 8 off turn 4. They were all able to save it, but down the back straightaway off turn number 2. Everybody's starting to single file out, trying to fight for whatever positions they can.
I've been calling him the 63 all race long. I just now recognize that. And I think he started this league at 63, but now he's the number 8. So correction on my part. You see the 88 there. Robert Tracy, the other Tracy in the field, he's going to run really high in 3 and 4. I think he had a little bit of wall glue. Slows down, gets passed by the 4, the 7, the 47, drops 3 spots there. And we're now seeing more contact. The 14 into the wall with the number 8. Ben Tracy, Red Bull Hoon, they both check up in front of these guys. They're more wall contact. Everyone's scrambling. 3 wide coming to 3.
Boys, ain't gonna work. 3 wide, back to 2 now. That could have been huge right there. Oh, and the 14 slaps the wall again into 3 and 4. He's loose.
No,
contact the 4 off the inside wall. No caution. We stay green. He's off the racing surface. Keeps it straight. That 4 of Chad Lang, though, is destroyed. The 4th seed in the playoffs coming into tonight has just gone ablaze down the front straightaway. That car is destroyed.
One of the few throwback skins, and you hate to see it. Championship implications here as the 4 gets slapped by the 7, and you see everything on that front of that car just fly off. Bunch of debris there resting at the bottom half of the track. And thankfully, there's not a caution for the rest of the field for damage and debris there on the track. But man, that is huge. The left front tire is turned in, at least on my angle, not on this angle. This is going to be a required 8-minute repair plus some extra. So count the number 4 out of this race. Going to be probably finishing in 21st.
And hey, guess who this all benefits too? As he drops back to 7th, Kyle Milliken. We talked about him earlier, not going to be able to make the next 2 races. Trying to get every single point he can here tonight. Driving aggressive, running up in the 7th spot, continuing to pass drivers. This 42 is looking to have a great night tonight here at Darlington.
Yeah, the 27, Ryan Chapman, he's out of the race. 57, Joshua Johnson, he's out of the race. Number 4, Chad Lang, all but out of the race. That's 3 championship contenders not having a good night here. So this is going to help that case there for Kyle Milliken. And as my producer in my ear, Dustin, just says, we're not even at Bristol yet. So, you know, if a couple more guys have bad races over at Bristol and get out of the race early, you know, maybe this great run here tonight, or at least well, it was great until he hit the wall, but he's still running 7th, not too shabby. But if he can keep it clean the rest of the way, he still might have a chance to be in this thing for next or for the round of 12.
Not to mention too, I mean, Brody Hanna's not having the best night. Tony Solari definitely isn't having a night that he wants to. So this is all looking pretty good for this 42 machine here tonight. Obviously, still a little bit of a ways to go here. This time by will hit 39 laps to go. Anything can happen, and I mean anything. Jose Costa, though, still up at the front of the field, holding them all at bay. Jamie Knopf, Jeff Chandler, Daniel Simmons, Richie Coy, top 5. They're all nose to tails. They head into 1 and 2.
And he still has a couple professionals, too, the 42 Milliken does. So he's only getting last place points for the next 2 races. That'll definitely help his chances for sure. But I am still just really enjoying this top 3. 24, 84, 31. And you can count the 0-6 of Daniel Simmons as Richie is finally starting to put himself into the picture. Side by side for the race lead here momentarily. Not going to happen. Though the 24, Jose has the preferred group off of turn 4. But look at the 31 drafting the 84 Jamie into turn number 1. Cannot get it done. But these guys are racing so hard inside this top 5. And, you know, you love to see this. Usually we see this action inside the top 10 or right at the top 10 mark. But right now, this is for your race lead. This is for points for some of these guys in this. And excellent stuff here as we're under 40 to go in this Darlington 250.
Yeah, and obviously every single one of these drivers wants to win here tonight. If you're in that top 5, that being Knopf, Chandler, and Coy, a win here tonight would lock you in to the round of 12 in the playoffs, meaning that you can go out to Kansas and Bristol and just have a good time trying to collect as many points as you can, whether it be stages, whether it be, hey, man, add more wins, sweep around, if you would say, like Joey Logano did years and years ago. But back at it, here we go. Oh, they made contact in 3 and 4 rather. Jamie Knopf down to the inside of Jose. Oh, we got a caution yet again. 6th caution of the night presented by Roasted Gems. Not too sure who it
and number
is. 8. Ben Tracy.
Off turn number 2 and almost clips that cut out there, but man, just pancakes the left side of that car. And almost looked like he had an upshift there, slides back in front of the field, which, I mean, I don't know about you, Jackson. We've made some assumptions before, but that car was straight on the bottom, going slow, all safe, and then he just abruptly turns right into the field.
Yeah, besides this, I mean, good job by not damaging the car with it nosing into the wall. Watch this. Watch this when he comes back up the track here, and I mentioned it right there, and you were making a statement. Watch coming up right here. Right there. There goes the 17 of Steve Loomis. Just barely made contact with the nose. I don't know if he just wasn't aware. Maybe couldn't check up in time. I don't know if he had a car to his inside. But right off the corner, that 17 machine just barely skimmed the wall and skimmed the front bumper of Ben Tracy's number 8 machine.
Yeah, just looking at that, on my camera on my game, I'm showing him stay in 2nd gear. But if you look on that replay that we just saw, if you go back, in time and rewind it yourself, or even Dustin's going to do it for you here, watch the gearbox here. This is what caused him to slide up the track was the downshift. A simple error there. 5th gear, down to 3rd. bloop second, and that's when it turns right. That's what I thought or
Too
assumed
high
rather.
RPMs.
Yeah, just when you downshift, the car just you don't have grip. Too much torque into the rear of the car, sends it around, and right in front of traffic. Thankfully, it did not take anybody out though.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at who it almost collected right there. But yeah, Jeremy, that's all caused by too high of RPMs. The more RPMs you're turning, obviously, that's just going to create, you talk about more torque and whatnot. Look at this. Oh, my God. I
Oh
don't think Steve
man.
Loomis even knew that Ben Tracy was stopped there on the outside until it was too late. He was probably sitting there, probably singing some Taylor Swift in his head, possibly. And unfortunately, the Swiftiness got to him there and almost got into that number 8 machine of Ben Tracy, just barely kissed that front bumper. So here it is, full speed, looking at the number 17. I mean, you can just see it kind of looks like there's nothing. All of a sudden, he's like, oh, crap. And then just, I can't believe he did that. I mean, I think he had enough time to go to the bottom, but I mean, to say the least, the fact that he got through there without destroying that number 17 is absolutely remarkable.
I mean, I don't know about you. I don't think the 17 had that Taylor Swift in his head. That might have been you. But either way,
You're
La
not
La
funny.
Land, he could have had plenty of time there to go to the bottom, right? But he stayed at the top and got a little bit of damage on the left front. He did make slight contact to the 8. I don't know if that's going to be crucial as we're going to see one more time here. There was a little movement in the car, a little bit of sparks coming off the wall and maybe off the left side here too, as we're going to go chase camera from far. See that tiny gap there, does everything it can, and then bunk bunk. You see the sparks actually come off the right
He
side
did
of the
slow
car.
down. He did slow down a little bit. You can kind of see it looked like, because you could see the car kind of start to bog down. Once those cars in front of him went to the low side, he immediately went, oh, shiitake mushrooms, and then ultimately went up to the top of the racetrack. And you could see that car, the front end of the splitter, kind of just start to bog down on the racetrack. And that's ultimately what probably saved him, because had he have been going full speed, I don't think he was going to make it through that, Jeremy.
Now I'm hungry for steak and mushrooms. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. We got a half lap left before we're going to go back to green flag for the 7th time this evening. It's going to happen on lap 153. So it's going to be 22 laps to go. And, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. 32 laps to go. My math did not serve me. And two of the top guys here in the points finally found themselves 1 and 2 here on the grid. 31, Jeff Chandler, going to be starting at first. Lex take the bottom. Interesting choice, as the outside on average has been better. The 19 of Richie Coy going to be starting in second place here. Pace car is down. Who is going to lead the next green flag lap? Let's see if the 31 can get a great restart. Green flag is out. The 31 gets the better jump. I think he's going to be able to clear the 19 of Richie Coy, but both of them out of a cannon. Going to clear the second row by a car length and a half to 2 car lengths. 19 holds the nose there at the top. Gives it up finally. Jeff Chandler to the point.
Man, thought they were going to be side by side there for a second, exiting 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Everybody just barely skimming the wall. But you see, there goes Jamie Knopp to the inside of Michael Blackner. Here comes Daniel LaFleur. He'll head down to the inside of that being Jose Acosta. So more contact. You see the 83 nearly, the 84 rather, almost getting to the door of Michael Blackner. Everybody's scattering those they head into 1.
Still side by side for right here, right inside the top 5-6 area. Almost contact with the 24 and the 23. The 24, Jose gets the point though. Barely clearing. Oh, the 14, oh, the 42, Kyle Milliken almost lost his championship hopes there. Nice save, gets it back, together once more on the inside of the number 7 there. Still side by side, finally gets clear of him. The 7 comes down the nose of the 14. We're kicking over to the Nerd TV replay. And there's the VHS rewind coming off turn 2. Really loose. Some of these guys were, especially that 42. And the caution's out here for the 8th time, presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. As we're going to get slowed up here, it looks like it's going to be the numbers 25 of Stephen Hollingsworth through turns 1 and 2. And some issue with the 37 and the 25.
Oh.
That was a Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson from earlier this year, correct?
Yeah, man, that's a tough pill to swallow. If you're the 25 machine, it's also a tough pill to swallow if you're the 37 of Brian Dublé. I want to say I have a comment. I don't really know, man. It's hard to tell. I doubt there was some kind of contact made on purpose. But at the same time, maybe the 25 squeezed the 37 so much, the 37 didn't like it exactly. The 37 decided to turn down. Because, I mean, if you look at this angle right here, 37 starts coming down, little bit of contact coming out.
Turns down again.
I honestly just think they were just racing too hard side by side. That angle told the story a whole heck of a lot better than what the other ones did. So in my opinion, I think right there, 37-25, going for the same piece of real estate. Ultimately, the 25 can only go up so high because of, this awkward turn here at Darlington. Unfortunately, made a little bit of contact with the 37, and the 37 is already out of shape, kind of. And he doesn't know the 25 is coming up, and the 25 doesn't know the 37 is coming down. Ultimately, met in the middle. Definitely a Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson type move, or you could say Martin Truex Jr. In front of the field too earlier this year at Darlington as well.
Yeah, I would have to agree with your remark. That's just a racing incident. The 37 did come down twice. I think he came down the second time because of the contact and it upset his car. These cars are already on edge to 1 and 2 anyways with the speeds that they're carrying. And the first contact happened, it shot his car back down to the bottom, and they all piloted up there on the top. But we get see a decent amount of cars coming down pit road. Of course, the 25, the 4, the 11. Looks like maybe one other person or so. That's going to be the 88 of Robert Tracy. And while these guys are making their pit stops and getting these things grouped back up here for now the 8th time, we're going to kick it to our last picture-in-picture commercial. Be back before the drop of the green flag. And we got one lap left to go before we're going to go back to green flag here, which will be about 25-ish laps to go here at the line, maybe 26. And quick shout out to our in-home sponsor, Nerd Swag. If you head over yourself over to swag.nerditudes.gg, you're going to find some of the finest gloves on the market from Martin Sports with the Nerditudes branding and the Nerd jerseys as well, also made in-house by Martin Sports. So, if you want to support the nerds in any shape or form, you can pick up one of these 2 items, or we got mouse pads, we got bottles, we got the Shirtitudes, which we have 3 designs currently and more to come. So stay up to date by heading yourself over to swag.nerditudes.gg. Promo code SUPERNERD at checkout. It's going to save you 25% off anything you purchase from swag.nerditudes.gg. Going back to green flag, Jeff Chandler at the 381 is going to be leading the 19 once again to the green flag for the 8th time this evening. Green flag is out. Jeff Chandler, equal start like he just had last restart over the 19. Should be able to get himself cleared, entering turn number 1. The 19 at the nose once again. Just cannot hold him there. Almost 3 wide, about 7th place there with the 84. And it looks like the 6, the 33, and Brody Hanna deep. No, here we go. We got a wreck for the 8th time. Caution is out. And the 33 I saw around. Oh, there's number 8 of Ben Tracy. and it looks like everybody else is able to avoid. I don't know how the 33, if he managed to escape. As you see the 33 take the tow on this wreck.
Man, Jeremy, everybody was just fighting for real estate right there off turn number 2. Thankfully, the 33 only collects one other driver, that being the number 8 machine of Ben Tracy. But man, that could have been a whole lot bigger than it probably should have been right there. It all started with the 23 getting really loose, and then the 33 just starts coming up because he starts getting loose and ultimately gets him into the 06 of Dan Simmons. And, picture basically paints itself right there, unfortunately, off corner exit for the 33.
That's so tough. If you watch him going backwards, he released the brake for just a second. And that 1 second of releasing the brakes rotated that car down the track, and that's why Ben Tracy was collected in the 8 car. We're going to see it one more time. Gets loose, clips himself front of the 6. Now watch the front tires. They're going to lock up on the wall during this slide here. At least on my camera it did. We're going to see if it does here. Going backwards. And X, yep, there it is.
There it is, yep.
Oh, so actually the lockup on this screen, so my camera's a little different. On this one, he was rolling it back until the lockup, and that's when the lockup sent him around. So a couple different visuals here from my side versus the producer side, but either way, hitting the brakes sent him down to the inside there and collecting the second car.
Yeah, definitely an unfortunate circumstance for Sherwood Williford, driver who won just back at the Indy Oval a handful of weeks ago. I had the opportunity to compete in that race, and it was really cool to see Sherwood get back to victory lane. Lucky Dog, Martin Sports' Lucky Dog Get a Grip Awards awarded to Steve Loomis, who made that heck of a thread the needle moment down the back straightaway. So Sherwood Williford, driver who has a win this season, came in just 3 points above the cutoff line. Unfortunately, it looks like Sherwood Williford going to have some more trouble tonight. And this is only making that 42 tonight even better. We'll still have to see how this 42 is, because honestly, that's a big storyline really coming into this, into tonight. The 42 wins last week, clutch moment, right? Gets into the playoffs, comes into tonight. He's 11th. He's seeded 11th because of all the points he's earned this year. He gets seeded 11th, so he's only a point above the cutoff line. He said he was not going to be able to make Kansas or Bristol, and then he went out tonight, gets that stage win. Been up at the front, been very aggressive. He's kept it clean, had a near miss earlier on, just a handful of laps ago, getting loose on the backstretch. It's been a good night for that 42 machine. If you're Kyle Milliken with that Martini and Rossi colors here, it's like this could be a night where maybe, with missing these next 2 races, this would be a race where he can maximize everything that he can, despite his performances, or not his performances, but his colleagues, his fellow competitors having issues here tonight.
You know what I just realized too, Jason, when you mentioned the Lucky Dog Award going to Steve Loomis, is that last caution prior, when we had Ben Tracy around on the backstretch and the 17 squeezed the gap. The 17 was in position for the Lucky Dog, but since he made the car contact, he was a part of the caution. He did not get a lap back last wreck. So he now goes from 4 laps down to 3 laps down because he was not a part of this one. So he's going to need a couple more cautions to get himself back into position. But now, depending on how Sherwood Williford's performing, he's 2 laps down this time around. Ben Tracy, 8, he's 1 lap down. So he got the Lucky Dog this time, but now he's got to have some stars aligned to get himself further into the field, potentially on the lead lap.
Yeah, but there's been so many guys too, Jeremy, all night long who have had issues throughout the field. Think about Tony Solari. Some other guys, just to name, just for example, too. I mean, there's been so many instances here tonight. We'll have to see how they stack up here on this restart. And really just at the finish here, we're coming down, only a handful of laps to go. Jeff Chandler is going to be leading them down with Richie Coy, 2 guys who have been going at it since Season B, obviously. Jeff Chandler came in, got a win, and he's been doing really good things. Probably should have more wins if you really think about it. Richie, he's been the class of the field here all of 2023. Jamie Knopf, he's a driver who's looking to have something go out for him. He's been so fast all night, came into this race 14th seeded below the cutoff line. Jose Costa, in just his 3rd start, trying to claim his first win. A lot of guys can do something. Oh, and don't forget about that Moreau Motorsports number 99 of Daniel LaFleur.
Third row on the inside. It's going to be green flag. Same exact front row here for the last 3 restarts now. 31 to 19, same exact start, but now the 84 and the 24 match the start from the leaders as they're going to be giving 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through 1 and 2 here. The 19 does not give up the spot this time off corner exit. This is going to get sketchy. They both make it clean. Still side by side. The 31 gets a little bit of that side draft entering turn number 3. The 19 has the nose advantage, goes deep, maybe touches the wall a touch here. Jeff Chandler's got up to squeeze. Oh, the 19 gets loose, has to check up, and allows Jeff Chandler to resume as your race leader. That was the best chance I think Richie Coy had all night. Now he has to fight for second place here. The 24 checks up with a high entrance of turn number 1. 84, Jamie Knopp's going to go back to third. Now, the 9th time. The caution is flying again. And this just keeps getting better and better and better. And this is going to happen to the number 88, Robert Tracy, the number 11, Tony Solari. 47 there, I think, initiated it coming off or into turn number 1.
Yeah, we'll take a look here at another replay. So the 47, you saw the 23 collected as well. Here we go, shifting it back. All started 47, pops the wall, starts coming down. 88, nowhere to go. Ultimately, Brody Hanna, nowhere to go. Kind of just a chain reaction right there going into 1. Then Tony Solari, nowhere to go, gets involved for his second crash of the evening. Right there, hard contact with the front bumper of that Menards number 11 for Fury Motorsports driver Tony Solari. Another driver, playoff contender, 6th coming into tonight with the seating list. Fortunately, he's going to fall victim yet again to another wreck here tonight.
And it's number 88 there, Robert Tracy for Old Man Motorsports, is just having a night, man. He's involved. This is 3rd caution that we've talked about him being involved in something, and just continues to escape, really. I mean, he's been involved with them pretty decently, but the car relatively doesn't look bad. So he's got to get it gathered up once more. This time, we're going to be under 15 laps to go on the restart, so really hard to make any ground up at this point. But the person, at the front of the field is like, man, can we just have this thing go green flag? The 31 is doing all he can to beat the best in the business as far as FTSR goes, Richie Coy on paper. And that time was the worst time, but still able to have the 19 make a mistake off 4. He got loose, allowed the 31 Chandler himself to clear him, but as you see the 17 get his lucky dog, so that's going to be the second one in a row for the 17. Hashtag get a grip. Lucky dog goes to the 17, Steve Loomis, for the second time this evening. But back to my point, Jeff Chandler really wants this thing to go green. He just has to clear the 19 once more here as they're getting to the final laps.
Yeah, and this has just been such a night, for a lot of guys. I mean, Jeremy, thinking back to it, I mean, Daytona wasn't even this chaotic. I mean, this race wasn't really even chaotic in the beginning of the race. We had some incidences, obviously, but I mean, this race is playing out like a usual Darlington race would. You have those long green flag runs. Ultimately, the cautions start playing out. Remember, we saw this last night. Not nearly this drastic, but nevertheless, I mean, this is just kind of like that typical Darlington race. It's just a playoff drama that's being presented to us. I mean, 9 cautions tonight at a race I thought that could have been over a little while ago. Man, this is still anybody's race, man. I mean, we could very well see these two go at it here on this restart, that being Jeff Chandler and Richie Coy. Richie Coy put up a fight on that outside, man. I thought they were going to wreck at least 2 or 3 times. Sure enough, their racing etiquette, the way that those guys are drivers, they're obviously professionals here when it comes to the FTSR Mach-1 Performance Cup, man. But still, though, anything can happen. If we could see Ross Chastain and Kyle Larson dominate a race at Darlington and wreck each other and restart, that might just happen here, the 31 and 19, if they just race a little bit more aggressively.
Man, that broadcaster curse. You better make sure that's not on point here tonight.
My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed. I didn't say anything.
They will hunt you down, sir.
It's all right.
We'll have to go back and edit the broadcast coverage, erase that whole lap that you just talked, because you guys don't want to hear it. But we're approaching 11 o'clock. We got 1 minute left before we hit 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have a restart. Looks like it's going to be 15 to go here when they come across the line for 1 to go signal. And we're going to shout out one of our partners from the Butt Kicker. They offer innovative hardware and software designed to give passionate gamers a deeper level of gaming immersion. The Gamer 2 unit, which is the standard in the sim racing community, giving sim racers a haptic transducer which easily attaches to any center post rather, to any gaming chair or sim racing rig, which gives any sim racer that much needed feel from the car that drivers really need to perform at their peak performance. And you're going to see their whole product line at thebuttkicker.com. Pick one up today. It is going to change your life as far as the sim world goes because, force feedback in the wheel plus this unit underneath your butt, it makes for a hell of an experience.
Absolutely. And these guys, I tell you what, they got that butt kicker going, man. They're going to be feeling every single bump, every single transition here at this rough surface. And this is going to be an interesting restart here. Talked about it just moments ago. I'm really, really interested to see what this number 19 does. Will he pose a threat to this 31 the restart like he did last time?
10th time, we're going to see this green flag wave here. This time it's going to be with 15 laps to go, or 16 rather, I do believe. Green flag is out. Here we go. It will be 15 to go at the line, 14 on the board. I think that's either way. Yeah, 14. Here we go. The 19 going to be trying, but just cannot do it. 3 out of 4 times has failed to keep side by side with 31. 84 and the 99, though. The 99 showing the best race possible here. He gets a great run. He's going to have the car advantage coming to turn number 3 for podium position.
Yeah, and what a run here for Daniel LaFleur, who's been doing such a good job all night long. Quiet night, but not so much of a quiet night for Jamie Knopf. He's been so fast. Stephen Hollingsworth out of the pack. He gets a little bit loose, able to save it there down off turn number 4 and down into 1. Knopf! I thought they almost were going to get into the wall right there. Solid 24. Shoved the 84 down into turn number 1. It's still tight off 2. And Jamie Knopf just saves it 3 wide, back to 2. Down the backstretch into 3. Daniel Simmons gets a 2-for-1 special.
Daniel Simmons making one of the big moves right there. Now the 14 Elaine Allen trying to make something happen here on the top as he's running his best position of this evening right now. The 24 looking underneath the 99 here, trying to take that 3rd spot away. Just cannot get the run there through the center. The 99, Daniel LaFleur, is going to take that right back here down the back straightaway as number 6 cannot get around the 14. You're seeing some chatter on the racing service. Something about some more contact midway. Not sure exactly who, but we stay green flag nonetheless. Top 10, and everyone for that matter goes back to single file as now we have 11 laps to go.
Straight away, off turn number 4, Ryan Hedrick hit the wall, was head on into the outside wall. Believe he was able to save it there, or no. Oh man, that's heavy damage to that 47 of Ryan Hedrick. Another playoff driver in trouble. 8th seed coming into tonight. We'll have to take a look at the replay, but that 47 is absolutely demolished.
The only person excited to see that is the 42 Kyle Milliken, but man, that whole clip. This is like the 3rd or 4th car we've seen tonight where they have lost the entire front end. It looks like a modified there as that hood is hanging on by a thread, and there it goes. Good night for the hood there of the 47. Going to the Nerd TV replay, and he's a little slow there off turn 2, so the car already looks like it's loose, right? Gets through 3 and 4 here. Little check up there. 88, Robert Tracy giving pressure. Actually, this was the lap prior possibly here. And then he got loose, slams that inside wall, as you said, and the night is done for Mr. Ryan Hedrick.
Yeah, we'll take a look here as he works his way off turn number 2, battling hard with one of the Tracy's loose off the corner, saves it. So that's that save down the back straightaway. And then here he comes into 3 and 4. Don't know if he got any help here from the 4 of Chad Lang, but off the corner, I didn't really see any contact. I think he just got loose. Yep, just a little too much mustard, as they say. And then, boom, hard to the wall, right in front of the 4. Then, pow, inside wall, hard hit for that number 47 machine.
Yeah, parts just exploding off that car and dampens that impact, but still destroys the car nonetheless. We go back to live camera footage this time. Now looking at the 24, Jose Acosta holds the 3rd place there momentarily. Looking at underneath the 99 here, LaFleur. Actually, no, this is not. I'm not on live camera. What am I talking about? Now we're seeing the Jose Acosta. He's in 3rd place, clearly. 31, Jeff Chandler holds just over half a second lead over the 19 of Richie Coy. So top 3 kind of looking like they're locked in at the moment here with almost 6 laps to go.
Here's the thing. And I know we talk about the commentator's curse. Jeff Chandler leading this race. Two things to point out. One, when Richie Coy is in that second position, he could smell, he could taste that lead in front of him. Just a little bit of a tease of that lead. We know how aggressive he can be, and he sure enough can do it. He can drive to the front. And we also know Jeff Chandler, known as a guy who can dominate a race or start to kind of close it out. And right when he seems like it's about to have it, he has it taken away from him. Remember back to Richmond earlier this year, just a handful of weeks ago, happened to him, dominated that race, wrecked on a restart, made a wrong adjustment, got involved in some stuff. We'll have to see here. 5 laps to go. This time by the line. Can Coy close in on Jeff Chandler? Battles, though, throughout this entire field. Jamie Knopp trying to hang on from Lane Allen now. Down the front straightaway into turn 1. 5 laps to go.
You saw the 14 there bounce off the wall kind of heavy like in 3 and 4, but he keeps his position on the track. Going back to Daniel Simmons in the 06 and the 99 and Danny LaFleur. This is for the battle of 4th place. Nose to tail coming to turn number 3. Contact from the 14 and the 84. It checks up the 14. Now the 7 of Wayne Grossi's going underneath the 14. This is going to be for 7th place. Cannot hold it off corner exit. It's just too strong of a momentum on the top.
Could see a yellow out of this little pack here with how aggressive these guys are racing. You see Daniel Simmons getting all over the back bumper of Daniel LaFleur off turn number 2. You see Wayne Grossi, he's a little bit loose. Guys are all over one another as Simmons looks to try to make a pass here on the 99. Gives the bumper to him, actually, into turns 3 and 4 this time. 3 laps to go from Darlington.
Really trying everything he can at this point. Wants to get himself one more spot here for the newcomer, Danny LaFleur. Getting a little roughed up here late in the going. 06 much better in corner center. This is probably why he's getting bumper tagged in the center. Just Danny rotates that corner so much better. Gets to the inside now of the 99. This time doesn't have to make any worries of making the contact. Checks up. You can tell he's so much better. Almost makes contact once more. Off corner exit there. The 99 still holds the spot. Coming to 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go. Richie Coy's gap has not really dwindled down at all. It's about 0.6 of a second back up at the front of the field. Jeff Chandler trying to score another victory here, lock himself into the round of 12. And this time as he heads off corner number 4, Jeff Chandler going to take that white flag over Richie Coy. 1 lap to go, presented by Nobody for the final time here in Darlington.
Richie Coy has made up a little ground, but it's definitely not going to be enough. Jeff Chandler, as long as, the hardware side doesn't have any issues, he's going to have no problems going around for a half more lap around this 1.36 mile Darlington Raceway. 3 and 4 for the final time for Jeff Chandler in the 31 off of turn number 4. And to start off the 2023 seed playoffs, Jeff Chandler's going to pick up his first checkered flag of the season. Great job there by Jeff to hold on there. First place for the 31.
Great execution by Jeff Chandler. Great job to not let Richie Coy over the last 2 restarts get to his outside, put him in a pressuring situation, and be able to pass that 31. But, man, it's good to see that Western Auto DW throwback back in victory lane, to say the least. I know that 31 machine always looks good every week, and this has got to be a special one for Jeff Chandler, to say the least.
And there was a little bit of laughter. I was checking it out. In NASCAR, you cannot wall ride, right? Unless your name's Kevin Harvick, off of turn 4 last night to end the race. But Stephen Hollingsworth did the same thing to Brody Hanna. Turn 3, drives in a little heavy, slaps the wall, and carries the momentum perfectly around the 23. So great pass by the 25 to seal that position up for 11th and 12th. But as Jeff Chandler celebrates his victory on the front stretch, unofficial results here tonight presented by Dusty Pete's. Jeff Chandler P number 1. Richie Coy in 2nd place. Jose Acosta gets the final spot for podium. 4th place, newcomer 99, Danny LaFleur. 5th place, Daniel Simmons. 6th, Jamie Knopp. 7th, Lane Allen. 8th place, Wayne Grossi. 9th, Kyle Milliken. And tonight's 10th place finisher, the 22 of Robert Malikian.
Rounding out the rest of the field from 11 to 26, Stephen Hollingsworth comes home in that 11th spot with the ultimate move over Brody Hanna in 12th. Rob Tracy comes home 13th. Michael Blackner 14th. Tony Solari 15th. Loomis 16th. Dublais 17th. Ryan Hedrick comes home 18th. You have 19th goes to Chad Lang. 20th, Ben Tracy. And then you get to some of the guys in the back. who could have had a way better night. Sherwood Wilford, playoff driver, out of the race early. James Wallace, out. Chris Beck, out. Josh Johnson, TJ Bartel, Ryan Chapman, all drivers who had bad nights. And Josh Johnson, Ryan Chapman, two of those guys who needed good nights coming in tonight. Fortunately, their nights ended very, very early here tonight in Darlington.
Yeah, definitely a shame, and it really mixes up these playoffs here. As some people who might not have had a chance now have a chance coming into next week at Kansas. But we're going to go to our full screen commercial break, gather up the top three here, and be back momentarily for our post race interviews during the Martin Sports post race show. And here we are back live for the Martin Sports post-race show as we're going to try to talk to our top three here this evening. And the first person, one of the newcomers to the league, Jose Acosta here in the 24. We'll see if we can't grab a word with him. Currently Mike's muted, but Jose Acosta, do you have a copy by chance? Jose, we'll try one more time. If not, we'll try later. Do you have a copy? And we're going to try to bring him in after first and second place here. That was the number 24, Jose Acosta. Boom, back now to second place, the number 19 of Richie Coy. Far more familiar with the podium here. Richie Coy, runner-up. Congratulations, man, on P2.
What's up, nerds?
What's up, man?
Are you guys as tired calling this race as we are racing it?
Say again, I'm sorry?
I said, are you guys as tired calling this race as we are racing in it?
I mean, I know it's an enduring track for you guys, but for us up here with the 9 cautions, it was action-packed for sure. So I was having a blast, but I know these two others are pretty tired. How are you, though?
I'm pumped up now. I mean, what the hell? I got second, and on old tires, Jeff and I stayed out and we ran our fastest lap, the fastest laps of the race there at the end. I mean, it just, wow. We didn't know if that was going to work or not, and apparently it did.
The two fastest guys all season long just happened to finish 1-2 here tonight. And I know you're not too worried about the points with that huge buffer between the cut line with all the bonus points you earned during the regular season. But my question to you is focusing in tomorrow, are you going to show up for the RSR race? And if so, what can you take away from tonight's race that'll help you more in that one tomorrow?
Unfortunately, and I haven't even told these guys yet, I have to work tomorrow night, so I cannot make tomorrow night's race. But
well, gotcha. Yeah. So turning your focus into Kansas, what are you gonna just gonna go for the win there at this point, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we're gonna win.
We're gonna win.
I'm kidding. We're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna go there and try to get the best finish we can, try to get our team up here in the booth with us and do the best they can do. I'm confused on, I think all 4 of us are in Cup. I think all 4 of us are in Truck, but Bobby hasn't shown up. So, it's a process. And tonight was a big night for me because this is one of my worst tracks. I literally hate this track. And to come out of here with a P2 tonight is definitely a way to continue forward with momentum in the playoffs.
Absolutely, man. Hopefully, you like Kansas just a little bit more. This track is tough, though, for sure. So I don't blame you for not liking it. But um, congratulations, P2. That's awesome. Really just helps you solidify through the round of 12 for you. Final shout outs, of course, before we let you go this evening.
We got a shout out to my team. We worked on a couple different setups, and I think a couple of us went a couple different ways. Michael and I were actually pretty close. So shout out to the team for working on setups together and getting something that was good. Michael, I think, was up there, and he pitted. He couldn't. He didn't want to hold out with us. Like I told him to hold out with us, and he didn't. So but thanks to them. Thanks to Tony's mom and dad for watching. Shout out to Jeff. Those last couple of restarts were fantastic. It was a lot of fun running with him. Run door to door, side by side with that, and congrats to him for the win and for moving on to the next round. And as always, thanks to the nerds.
Appreciate you, man. Good luck next week there at Kansas. And yeah, well, actually, we'll see you on this coming Wednesday for the second round of the Martin Sports Truck Race.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Good night. Well, that was number 19, Richie Coy there in the Valvoline Ford Mustang this time around. And we're going to bring in our winner because Jose Acosta has a dead headset. So we're not able to talk to him tonight. So Jeff Chandler going to be brought in here to the Nerd TV booth. Congratulations, man, on the first win of the 2023 season race.
Thank you very much. If you'd have told me at the beginning of the race that I would be here, I would have laughed because I started the race with my qualifying setup.
So how did that work? Obviously, tire wear would have been a atrocious thing, and that's probably why we saw you just let cars go after like 20, 30, 40 laps. You just went to the bottom, waved them around, and you dropped back quick. So that explains that. So how did you manage your tire wear and get that car adjusted for the long run?
Well, fortunately the cautions fell at opportune times, and I just kept making changes, and that last change that I made before, well, 3 cautions before the last one, was just spot on for the amount of fuel I had left. Let's put it that way. I just kind of I hit the sweet spot on it by accident. I was just trying to make it not so loose on the long run because it was a handful, and I just I hit it pretty good. I was man, I tell you, the last several laps on 50 lap old tires, I think me and Richie set the fast time, twice.
Yeah, you two definitely were running really fast lap times. I don't know exactly who had the fastest and whatnot, but overall, yeah, just so much speed out of that car. And that makes sense, right? Because you're in your qualifying set. And thankfully, there's not grill tape in these next gen cars, so you didn't have to pit on lap 2 or 3 before you overheated the engine. So you got the checkered flag tonight, so now means Kansas and Bristol you don't have to worry about. That is yours in the round of 12. So focusing on that round, how do you feel like those 3 tracks are going to do for you?
Kansas, I feel pretty good about it. I have a pretty good 1.5 mile, set, and you can take those depending on the banking. You can take them from 1.5 miles to 1.5 miles. Bristol, that's a wild card. You just never know about that. I mean, it's been forever since I ran Bristol, so I'm going to have to really do some practicing on that. But I really feel good about all the race, most of the tracks in the last 10. So this one was really one that I didn't have any idea that I could win it because I just have never been really good here. So this is kind of just caught me off guard.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. I went back and looked, and yeah, you and Richie ran the fastest times. Richie outdid you by 4/100ths of a second at a 29.056 to your 29.096. So 4/10 exact or hundredths early. So blistering lap times for sure. But yeah, man, floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
Well, I want to thank Brooks and Will at Hyperforce Esports and all the guys that pitch in and work extremely hard on these sets. And this one was kind of a bastard set because a lot of the guys were on vacation this week, so it had a lot of my personality in it. Don Wheaton Chevy, Judd Danielson at Abruzzi and Racer Apparel, Doyle Lawrence at Raven Graphics, Kenny and the guys at Team Watson, Of course, the nerds, man. Jeremy, Jason, Dustin. Like I said, y'all are the best in the business, and we don't want anybody else calling our races. Brody and Richie and the guys at FTSR. What a fantastic league this is. Mach-1 Performance, the series sponsor, and Martin Sports also. They do a lot for all the series, and that's it.
Hey, man, appreciate all those kind words there. Congratulations once again. You are locked into the round of 12. Good luck the next 2 races. You're just going all for nothing at that point, but good night to you.
Good night. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. That was a 31 of Jeff Chandler. Very enthusiastic too, Jason. Of course, getting the checker flag and locking yourself in for the next round, that's going to put a smile on anyone's face, but you could definitely tell in his voice he was excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was interesting. And here we go. We're going to take a look real quick before we send it off for the night here. This was the last lap with the 25 Stephen Hollingsworth. And I asked you right when we went to commercial, right before we gathered up our top 3, or at least we tried to. And what happens? So you see the 25, he kind of comes in here off turn number 4. And I believe he just pops the wall. Yeah, he's just going to pop the wall and then ultimately kind of just rides it all the way through 3 and 4 and gets around the 23. And because of popping that wall, he was able to have that center drive off and was able to kind of dive it down to the bottom and ultimately got right past Brody Hanna, who gets loose right at the line. So good job to Stephen Hollingsworth to be able to maintain for, I believe that was the 11th place finishing position. But hey, man, besides everything that happened tonight, I mean, what a chaos-filled first race for the 2023 season. C, that is. C. But for the playoffs, too, man, lots of guys had issues tonight. Kyle Milliken probably had the biggest break of his FTSR career tonight, besides getting that win at Daytona last week, too. I mean, definitely one that's going to be one to remember. And, man, I tell you what, I cannot wait for Kansas next week, because earlier on this season we went to Kansas. We had probably the best race of the season so far. So I'm really looking forward to Kansas next week, because that track is just super, super fun to drive, very racy. Going to be interesting to say the least.
You like multi-groove racing? Well, the next 2 races are progressively banked from the bottom to the top. So definitely provides lots of options for these guys for sure. And I'm excited for the next 2 races as well but we're going to close this thing out. We're going to thank our sponsors and partners one last time, which are now listed on the right-hand side of your screen. Full Throttle Sim Racing, the place you're watching right now. Appreciate you guys for letting us do this for about 2 years now. And these guys have been doing it for 17 as a league entirely with the same admins. So they have stood the test of time. And if you want to join up, head over to FTSR.net. Mach-1 Performance, the Monday night series sponsor for the Cup Series. It's a race car fabrication shop that's produced champions, winners of all sorts of racing divisions. Find them at Facebook at facebook.com/Mach-1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, your all-inclusive league points management system that allows you to completely track your league stats and more with one simple upload of the race export. So find them at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get all of your racing notifications just a fraction of a second faster. And to complete your sim rig that keeps your focus on the racing action, and find them at iRacingIFlag.com. Butt Kicker, at thebuttkicker.com, you're going to find a full product lineup of all their haptic response systems for your sim rig, so check them out. Team Watson Racing, quality professionally built setups for all your asphalt oval needs, and proven here in the FTSR League through multiple drivers. And find them at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles, hobby shop with a whole lot more. So if collecting is the game, Dusty Pete's is the name, and find them at dustypete's.com. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee. Premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with coffee from Roasted Gems at roastedgems.com. And this is it for us tonight. So you're going to catch us live tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, for the RSR Next Generation Cup Series, as they're going to tackle Darlington here. And then Wednesday, you'll catch us for Martin Sports Truck Series at the same time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Till then, you guys, as always, stay safe. Get your nerd on.